All right. Shalom, everyone. Peace for those who love peace, and no peace for the wicked, and the Lord said. Today, like somebody yesterday, someone who left Islam, he sent me the video of this guy, if you remember. So I saw that he is very active in TikTok and he's getting a lot of a view. So I said to myself, let us get him busted. Shall we? So I want those who they are going to watch this video to download it as full and then cut it pieces and make it short. And we are going to make him shish kebab. And by the way, I invite this idiot to call me anytime. You are just the most idiot ever. Not only, there's one of two options. Either you are a liar just to make money, because the Muslim, they will swarm your channel and you will make a lot of money from it, or you are a fool. Choose one. Which one? I don't care. At the end of the day, you will be busted. So let us watch his video, and I will click randomly, like this one here in front of me. I saw it already. But we will click at his videos randomly, and then I want Christians who will care to help to cut those videos and post all over, including TikTok, and let everybody laugh at him. All right? So now the introduction is not really important. Let us go to the videos one by one. So we will go to the first video, and then we will click at the second video, third video, etc., which I did not watch it. But this one here, I saw already, Let us take the busted off to make the video more viewable. All right. And we go and see how truthful this person is. All right. Let us put his picture here. Shall we start? Go.
I can convince you that Islam is the one true religion and every other religion is false in 15 seconds. And I just found out about this right now. It is absolutely crazy. The words man and the words women are both mentioned 23 times in the Quran. And
Stop. You are a big fat liar. We can go right now and we type the word man. 13 times. And the same for the, by the way, you can type the same in English, you will see that they are lying. So whatever numbers they give you, whatever Muslim he give you, he is a liar, he is a fraud. If we type the word women, not women, we can type one woman, all right? One woman, oops, sorry. Or we can type the word women. Either way, you will be doomed. This idiot, he is searching what Muslim they made articles. They are lying to you. You are stupid like them. Let us type the word women and post it in the Quran. So remember how many times the word man? 13 times. He said how many? 25 times. This is the word imra'a. How many times? 20 times. I will type the word rijal, which means men. 54 times. I mean, just so silly and so stupid. Next. Go. Continue.
you have 23 chromosomes. The word land is mentioned 13 times and the word sea is mentioned 32 times. That's exactly.
Let us go and check it out. The word land mentioned 13 times. Is that true? Al-Ard 436 times. How many times? 436 times. According to him, to what? 13 times. Go.
71% sea and 20.
What?
99% land, which is the combination of the earth. The
Yeah,
word
yeah.
day is said 365 times, which is exactly the calendar we use now. And it doesn't
Let us check it out. The day is mentioned 365 times, which is the calendar we use now. By the way, you idiot, your God don't use this calendar. So if this calendar we are using is the correct one, why your God use the wrong calendar? Let's read it together. This is the word yom. Is it 365 times, you idiot liar? 211. Let us type the word ayam, which means days. 192 times. Why you are a fraud liar? Next.
stop there. The word month is used 12 times in the Quran, and that's
Stop. The word month mentioned 12 times in the Quran. Are you sure, Abdul? Shahr, 3 times in the Quran. Ashhur, by the way, the word shahr does not mean month. This is Muhammad copying the word which mean moon. Shahr mean moon, specifically the crescent moon. This is why it says in the Quran, whoever of you were in a witness, what? Shahru Ramadan, which means the moon of Ramadan, the crescent moon of Ramadan. Uh, Ashhur. So we search word shahr 3 times. Ashhur 15 times. Potato. I can prove for you the Quran in 30 seconds. Brother, sisters, amazing, brother.
exactly corresponding with the calendar we use now. The Quran also mentions that the heavens are always expanding, and we now know that the universe
That's false. Nowhere the Quran says such a thing. The Quran says, وَإِنَّا لَمُوَسِّعُونَ. Allah will create more. This is not about expanding the heaven. Stupid search engine. وَالسَّمَاءُ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ. This is not about the heaven. This is about He will make more. The translation here is false. You read the interpretation, you will see right away it says that Allah will create more. Here we go. Never read Muslims' translation. They lie. Actually, if I change the translation here, right away you will see a new meaning. All right? Right away. Let me show you. Here we go. This is Big Tal. If I go to Hilary and Khan, what he will say? Totally different. What is extending? Vastness, the vastness of space thereof. A lie. Read with me. Chapter 51, verse number 47. 51. Every Abdul is a liar until he proved the opposite. This guy, he is just copying what the Abdul they say, by the way. He is not, like he's just a copy, he noticed those articles in the internet. So he said, let us copy, and that will make us more well known. And then we will laugh at you. I will make you way more well known. So this is 51, as you see, and this is 47. And this is how the Muslim understand the verse always. Is it about Allah extending the heaven? No. Allah is going to make more. We will. Allah is all powerful, supposedly, with might. Change the interpretation. Use anyone you want. Jalalain. Every Muslim is a liar. Do you see it? It means that he is strong and he is capable of doing more. This is not about the heaven. However, just to show you how stupid you are, if you go to the book of Isaiah, chapter number 40, verse, you read from verse number 1, 2, 3, as you wish. You will see it says clearly that God, He built the heaven and He stretched it like a curtain. So if Muhammad, if we assume that this is in the Quran, Muhammad then he will be copying the Bible. Can we find one Muslim is not a stupid? It's impossible. Mission is impossible. It is he who sat above the circle of the earth. The first time that any book in the world mentioned that the earth is round. In fact, the word circle is not accurate translation, but we will go with it. And its inhabitants like a grasshopper, who stretch out the heaven like a curtain and spread them out like tent to dwell in. So who is the one who mentioned this? This is in the Bible, not in the Quran. Continue.
Is constantly expanding. Like, think about that. That is absolutely insane.
I know.
The Quran was revealed 1400 years ago.
Hold on, I forgot to mention something. The same verse you mentioned to us about this, the sky is expanding, which is false. The verse after it says the earth is flat. Just the verse after it says flat. And then the verse after it saying that Allah created from everything two pairs. Which is stupid to say. Because according to the Quran, everything is male and female. But this is not true. This is the Quran. And if we want to search for the word flat in the Quran, we will find it all over the place. As an example, the Quran says that the earth is a carpet, totally flat. Besought, chapter 71, verse number 19. You go to the interpretation, 71:19. Read with me. I laugh at your religion. Amazing. How Allah made the earth flat. This is your official government website of the Kingdom of Jordan. This is not a Christian website. And this is your official highest scholars. Continue. By the way, we can show you more verses saying the earth is flat, but this is enough.
And we have all of those things now, and some of those things we haven't even discovered up until the last 100 years.
Yeah, we did not discover until now that there's a flying carpet can carry all the army of Suleiman. And we did not discover that the ant can speak and hear, because ants don't talk and they don't hear anybody. When the Quran says he heard her speech and he laughed at her speech. Continue, continue.
No possible way that's a coincidence. If you look at it and just objectively look at it.
Objectively. So this video is over. Next video.
The Pentagon and the CIA have confirmed that Islamic prophecies are coming true. Let me prove it to you. Prophet
Pentagon. Guys, in the Pentagon, they confirmed the Islamic prophecy is coming true. Tell us.
Muhammad, peace be upon him, predicted that we would compete in building the world's tallest buildings.
That's stupid of you to say, because at that area, highest buildings exist long time before Muhammad. However, you stupid idiot, if this is the prophecy for the end of the world, we have it long time ago in there. So why the end of the world did not happen? Are you stupid? If we go to the hadith and read it, you will see how Muhammad got busted. Why don't you show us the hadith? So people will laugh at you and will laugh at Muhammad and will die laughing at him. Here we go. They will not show you the prophecy Muhammad said, because if you read it, you will laugh. You will notice right away that Muhammad is a fraud. Again, if you are watching and later you want to cut the videos, please download it all and cut it into pieces and get this Abdul busted. All the Abduls, we will make you shish kebab. And if any one of you dare to debate me, feel free. A bunch of potatoes. So when Muhammad, he claim and he speak about prophecies about the day of judgment, he have many of them. And then if you read it carefully, you will see how Muhammad busted himself, because none of them can be true. For many of the event he mentioned, we pass already and nothing happened, which means the prophecy never happened, but the timing happened. The prophecy never happened, but the timing happened. As an example, if you read here, Uh, Muhammad, he said, they asked him, O Messenger of Allah, when the hour will be, he said, the one who will be is being asked about it does not know more than the one who is asking. I do not know more than the one who is asking. But I will tell you about the signs when the slave women give birth to her mistress. Through history, always this has happened. Through history, always this has happened. Because, I mean, it's just so stupid to say such a statement. Because in the time, during the history, men, they have sex with their slaves. And then the son or the daughter, they will become the master of them because the son will be free. You are a stupid idiot. If we remember, if we remember, even Abraham, he married his slave. The son of Abraham, Ishmael, is free. Muhammad making prophecy, and then he says, uh, when the construction of the buildings, tall building, but tall building exists even before the Pharaoh. The Babylon Tower is a very high building, and those people, they used to be shepherd too. Who said that they're all mankind? They used to be in the beginning living as animal grower and farmers. They are shepherd. This is why the Bible mentioned that God is my shepherd, because shepherd mean the one who take care of things. If we continue, if we take this one here, because there is another hadith, will show you the stages of those prophecies, and will make Muhammad shish kebab. All right. Where is the hadith? Let us see. Let us search for it in Arabic. uh, Let us see, maybe this one here. Remember, if a man he made one false prophecy, he is a false prophet. If one of them is false, he is a false prophet. Here, this is one. Let us see, other one. I want to find the one showing you stages of those prophecies, because that will make Muhammad clearly exposed. Let us see. In the same statement, he says, nobody knows what inside the womb save Allah. But we know that now we can know what is inside the womb, and Allah do not even know it. Like a prophecy about the woman, she will give birth to her master. This is happening all the time, you idiot. Let us see. Until now, I cannot find the full hadith. Let me see. Hold on. Give me a minute. Because there's the hadith, the original hadith, showing you the stages one by one. And you will see right away how Muhammad, he exposed himself so easy. Let's see here. Amazing, amazing. I'm looking for the hadith. Let us see. I will make everybody in the world laugh at you, you coward liar. Where is the hadith? You know, the issue, Muhammad, he have a big mouth. He never stopped talking and making prophecies. So the same story repeated 1,000,000,000 times, maybe. So you need to find which one is the one giving you more details to confront the Muslims with it. Let us see. A million hadith. Sometime you find what you want right away, but don't worry, we will find it. We will. We are not like this Abdul, they make things up. All right, here we go. We found the hadith. Finally. Bingo. Read your prophet. Now, if you are making a video, you can cut the part where I'm looking for the hadith so you don't waste time and you can go right away. So this is the original hadith and this is al-Bukhari. So this is very authentic. This is very authentic. All right? Read carefully and laugh at Muhammad. Allah Messenger said the hour will not be established. Number one. See, this is why I look for this hadith. Because it's giving you the prophecies in order. It's going to happen in order. Number one. Who is the one who put number one? Not me, the Muslims. Till two big groups fight each other, whereupon there will be a great number of casualty. Both sides, they will be following one and the same religious doctrine. What does that mean? Christians fighting Christians? Impossible, because the First World War I and the Second World War II, we know that many nations involved, including Japan, including Muslims, including everybody. That was not between two nations who they have the same religion. If you are talking about the fight between Christians like Catholic and Protestant, well, this has happened a long time ago and nothing happened. And then he says a great casualty. Which one? But then he says, number two, there will be 30 Dajjal. Until now, we did not see one of them. Where is the one who claimed to be the Messiah and he made the miracles as the Quran says? Because when you say Dajjal, that means he is the one who will be able to perform miracles nobody can do. Until now, we did not see one. And each one of them will claim that he is Allah messenger. That's false because the Dajjal, he will claim to be the Messiah, and the Messiah claimed to be God, not Allah messenger. And we will show you why. Number three, till the religious knowledge is taken away, which means Islam will not be followed, and nobody care for Islam, and nobody knows about Islam. Why? Because all the scholars will die. So now Muhammad is claiming that before, remember this, the tall building will be later. So before, long before the tall building will happen, no scholars of Islam has exist, and no Muslims. And then number four, earthquake will increase in number, which is something everybody speak about, like because the Bible mentioned earthquake. Time will pass so quickly. So according to Muhammad, after all the scholars they die, an earthquake will increase. The day will become so short. The day will become so short. According to Muslim, will be about 4 hours, 5 hours, according to their videos they make. And then affliction will appear, which means a lot of problems in the world. And then al-harj. What is al-harj? Killing will be increased. Very stupid. There is killing everywhere. There's war everywhere. Nothing changed. Till the wealth will be abundance. Imagine, before the Arab they build the high building, people will not care for money. People will not care for money. So abundant that wealthy person will worry that lest nobody would accept it. So you go in the street, you say, hey, I want to give you $1 million. They will say, get lost. We don't care for it. We do not need it. This is number 8. Number 9. Read with me carefully and laugh. After the wealthy, they will say, take the money. Nobody will take it because nobody need it. Nobody need it. Then the people will compete one another, construction high buildings. So look at the stupid Abdul. Before the high building accomplish prophecy, we will reach the point that people kill each other. And look at the contradiction. How people will kill each other and then wealth is abundant. How people do not have religion and scholars of Islam are dead, and then people giving charity. A wealthy man, he want to give a charity. He want to give zakat. A second ago you said before that happened, all Muslims will be gone. The knowledge of religion will be taken away, which means there's zero Muslim in this earth. So the stupid Abdul, when he mentioned to you that they will compete in building with one another, this is will happen as number 9 after all those happen. None of those things happen until now. Or they happened. The only one happened according to Muslims. Muslims have now tall building. But we know that Yemen, they have tall building before Muhammad. The shepherd, the sheep, the poor Egyptian, they built very high building before Muhammad. What this guy is talking about? So all the prophecy, and now we continue. Tell the man when he is passing by a grave of someone will say, would that I were if he's in his place. He wished to be in his place. Until the sun rise from the west. So Muhammad, he claimed that the sun will rise from the west. This is alone will prove Muhammad to be a fraud. Why? Let me show you why. According to Muhammad, the sun goes every day from the west, from the east to the west, every day. Where the sun goes, Muhammad, he asked his companion, do you know where the sun goes, Abdul? Huh? tons of hadith proving Muhammad to be a fraud. Read carefully. And this is authentic. This is coming from Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Both are extremely authentic. Abu Dhar, the father of the ants, told that at the sunset, God messenger asked him if he knew where the sun went. That when he replied that God and his messengers knows best. The Muslims are kuffar mushrikeen. They associate the name of Allah with the name of a man whose name is Muhammad. They made them equal. Read carefully. Allah and his messengers knows best. Not Allah knows. No. Allah and Muhammad. So now Muhammad, he knows. So he said, it goes and prostrate itself under the Allah throne. And then ask permission to depart. And this is granted. But it will soon prostrate itself, and that will not be accepted from it, and will ask permission to depart, and will not be granted. It will be told to go back where the way it came, which means from the sun came from the east, came to the west, right? The sun set in the west according to Muhammad. And here, notice carefully, Muhammad the Fool, he says soon. Do you see the word soon? Muhammad prophesied that that will happen so soon, and we are 1400 years after. According to Muhammad, the sun moves every day from the east to the west and bow down under Allah. And not only that, we will find later that the sun goes and sits inside the muddy, bloody, boiling water. And this is in the Quran. And then the Muslim, they try to defend it. They will say to you, oh, this is how Zulqarnain he thought. Nowhere in the verse it says he thought. Allah is talking. Until when he reached the sitting place, he reached the sitting place of the sun. The sun have a sitting place. But we know that the sun does not have a sitting place. That is a stupid statement in the Quran. He found it sitting in a spring of a black, muddy, hot water. And he found near it people. If we go to the hadith, we will find Muhammad explaining his amazing discovery. Muhammad, he confirmed that yes, the sun goes and sits in hot boiling water. And this is Sahih. This is what? Sahih. I was sitting behind Allah Messenger, never sat in the front of Muhammad. He's a gay. Who was riding a donkey while the sun was setting. He asked, do you know where this set? I replied, Allah and his apostles knows best. He said, it's set in a spring of warm water. Hamia, in fact, translation is false, because the word Hamia mean very blazing hot. How we know that? Very simple. You can type the word Hamia in the Quran. You will find that the word Hamia is description for hell. So the stupid Muhammad, he have amazing prophecies. He discovered where the sun set, and then the Muslim, they would say, oh no, it doesn't say that, CP. See, this is the word Hamiyah, chapter 88, verse number 4, chapter 101, verse number 11. This is about description of hell. So Muhammad claiming that the sun set in a very, very blazing fire, boiling water. This is not Christian Prince saying, this is your false prophet, and this is authentic as you see. Shall I continue? And then this guy, he says to us, amazing prophecies. Continue.
Look at New York, look at Dubai, skyscrapers everywhere. He said that people would communicate over long distances. Look how we use phones. He predicted.
Nowhere he used the word communicate. The word atbaq, you idiot, have nothing to do with this. He's talking about people who they are foreign. They are not family. People, they will not care for their family. They will care for others who they are not family. Abdul is Abdul. You cannot change that. Mission impossible. Muhammad, he predicts satellite, you idiot. Uh, when a Muslim he mentions something, we die laughing. And notice this guy, he have in the front of him something in the screen, and he is reading somebody what somebody said, and he make a video. But you never show your reference because the second you read the reference, you will die laughing. Because right away you will notice Muhammad is making a poo-poo. If you find the hadith, he mentioned, what we will find, you will die laughing. Let us get it for you. Mm. Let us see. Uh, he don't show you anything because he know he cannot show. And the Muslims, they will not care. All what they care for is defending Islam and making Islam look good. All right. Read with me and laugh. Just to show everybody how I will make you shish kebab for good. This is your false prophet. By the way, let us save this one, guys, before I go and move it. Save this one so in the future, if we need it, we can. I don't save reference, I don't save them because all in my head. And if I want to make a bookmark for everything I know, it's going to take me a billion years to finish. So this is the reference, all right, for Muhammad false prophecies about the buildings. Save it in your, all right, save it. Let us post it in Rumble too. Nobody will take it because nobody need it. Nobody. All right. Good. Because later we will, look for it and, you know, and I don't save bookmark. Okay. Let us find the hadith about the communication, brother. Prophet Muhammad, brother, he discovered that we will use, brother, what? We will use communication by satellite, brother. Who? Muhammad. Yes, we will use Vodafone. Hold on, hold on. Lord have mercy. What Muhammad was saying, he never mentioned anything about satellite, you donkey. He is saying that people they will connect with foreigners, but they will abandon their own mothers and children's. Let us see. Where we can find the hadith in English, if we can find it. If not, we will show you the Arabic one. Okay, let us see. Maybe this hadith is not mentioned in English here. Okay. Yeah, possibly that this hadith will not be found in English, so we will show it to you in Arabic in case we could not. Because this is hadith reported by Ibn Masood. Yeah, let us go to the Arabic then. And then right away, in 2 seconds, you will notice that Muslims are lying about what Muhammad meant. Every Muslim is a liar until he proved that he is not, and that is mission impossible. Remember, the sun set in murky water, boiling hot water. Discovery of Muhammad. The sun move every day from the east to the west, and Allah will command it one day to go and appear from the west. And this is a prophecy. So this is the hadith. And this is the answer for, they are asking, is this hadith is correct? The answer, no. The answer is no. They are using even false hadith to prove a false statement claiming Muhammad. And not only that, here it says clearly that from the signs of the hour, he said to him, O Ibn Masood, that from the signs of the hour, that the one who betray will be trusted, and those who they are illiterate, which means the Muslims, will be not trusted. O Ibn Masood, from the signs of the hour and the condition that you will connect with the foreigners, people who they are not from the family, but you will not connect with your own people of your own womb. This is what is speaking about. They are using the word atbaq, which sound like dishes, but this is false. The atbaq, yes, can come as dish to eat in it, not satellite, dish. But atbaq mean that you foreigners, you communicate with foreigners. And read carefully. This is how you see it is. It's about what? It's about not communicating with those people who they are from your family, but communicating with those who they are strangers. Yet you will not communicate with your own family, your mother. All right? So this is from the sign of the day of judgment. This is not about satellite. Everything will go wrong. If you read the whole thing, you will see everything is going wrong. If we translate the whole page, actually, let me translate it all. Starting from where he started talking about the signs of the day.
Among the signs of the hour is that children will be a source of anger, rain will be scarce, and the noble will become abundant. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that the treacherous will be trusted, and the trustworthy will be considered treacherous. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that families will be united, and kinship ties will be severed. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that the hypocrites will rule every tribe, and the wicked will dominate every marketplace. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that the sanctity of mosques will be distorted, and hearts will be corrupted. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that a believer in his tribe will be more despised than a coin. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that men will be content with men, and women with women. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is the rule of boys and the conspiracies of women. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is the proliferation of mosques and the raising of pulpits. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that the ruins of the world will be restored, and its prosperity will be destroyed. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that music, arrogance, and the drinking of wine will become widespread. O Ibn Masood, among the signs of the hour is that illegitimate children will become numerous. I said, O Abu Abd al-Rahman, are they Muslims? He said, yes. I said, O Abu Abd al-Rahman, is the Quran among them? He said, yes. I said, O Abu Abd al-Rahman, how is that? He said, a time will come upon people when a man will divorce a woman, then deny the divorce, and he will continue to have relations with her. They are both adulterers as long as they continue.
Look how many stupid things Muhammad he made here. If we consider this hadith, according to this guy, inaccurate, he said that people will abandon the Kaaba. You see it? So before, if we say that the communication by satellite, as he claims, is going to happen, as you see, is going to happen when? There's no, actually nowhere it says that, but it have to happen first that nobody will go to the Kaaba. The Kaaba will be abandoned, distorted. Nobody will go there. Nobody even will go to any mosque. Do you see it? And speaking about men going to men and women going to men, this is very, very, very silly of Muhammad to say, because in his time, everybody was going to men in his town. If you read my books, Section Allah. So as you see, Muslims, they lie. There's nothing about satellite here. This is about you will be stranger to your kin, but you will be close to those who they are not. And we have the Arabic hadith in front of you. And if you go actually to the hadith itself, you will see that this hadith is not accepted at all. It is mawdu'. This is a fabricated hadith that is not authentically attributed to the Messenger of Allah. And this guy, go, continue.
That we would fly in large metal birds. That's airplanes predicted.
What? Hold on. What?
1400 years ago, before we had flights. The Prophet said that music would be everywhere and you cannot avoid it. You can't.
See, he's quoting the same hadith I mentioned to you. This is a fraud hadith. Music will be everywhere. Music is everywhere since the beginning of the time, you idiot. What are you talking about? Muhammad in his house, he have girls are playing music for him. In his time. Muhammad, he told the Muslims that the music instrument is the music of shaitan. This is the instrument of shaitan. So Abu Bakr, he came to Muhammad. He found girls dancing and playing music for him. So Abu Bakr, he said to him, the music instrument of shaitan in the house of the Prophet? Muhammad, he said to him, come on, it is Eid, man, it is Eid. Those are slaves dancing for me. Ah, I see. Muhammad, he claimed actually that Allah, when people they play music, Allah will make them pigs and monkeys and will make mountains go in the top of them. Read and laugh, you idiot. All those hadith is about your prophet punishing people. And one of the reasons Allah will punish them to make them pigs and monkeys because they play music. Look how many times the stupid Muhammad repeat the same stupid thing. But we know that people, they play music every day and nobody become a pig or a monkey. All right? Read. All of those. Allah will make them pigs and monkeys. Look how many hadith. So your prophet, he discovered that people at the end of the time, they will play music, you donkey. Huh? This is a discovery. Read and laugh with me. This is a prophecy, remember. People among my nation will drink wines, calling it by another name, and the musical instrument will be played for them, and singing girls will sing for them. Allah will cause the earth to swallow them up and will turn them up into monkeys in Egypt. Is that true? Did Allah make any Muslim nation, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Egypt, Morocco? I mean, you Muslims are number one in belly dancing or shaking ass. Which nation Allah, He made them pigs and monkeys? Since Allah, Prophet, He made the prophecy about such a thing. Can you name for me the nation? Because remember, my people will do this and Allah will do what? Will do that. What He will do? He will make them pigs and monkeys. See, those girls by now, they became monkeys, by the way. All right? Those are not alive no more. Those are pigs and monkeys. This is Muslim countries. Nightclub, belly dancing, sex. Even in the Pakistan, they bring a boy. They make him dressed like a girl and they F him after that. Look, mashallah. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Allah will make them pigs and monkeys. Are you sure? Yes, brother. Yes, brother. Allah will make them pigs and monkeys. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, brother. Alhamdulillah. Shake it, shake it. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, more. Betty four. Yeah. Lift up the skirt. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. May Allah bless you, sister. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. I'm a Muslim. Yeah. And what Allah will do? Allah will make them pigs and monkeys, brother. And He will make the earth swallow them. Are you sure? Yes, brother. I'm very sure, brother. I'm very sure. Uh-huh. Are you kidding me? We are extremely sure. Everything happened for a reason, brother. Allah is punishing them. What is the women? What happened? I see nothing there. Oh boy. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Yeah, shake it, lick it, bake it. Big butt. Uh-huh. Yes, brother. Yes, brother. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Big butt. Very shiny. Look how the butt, it moved by itself, is like an independent truck. Yeah. And Allah will do what? Allah will make those Muslims pigs and monkeys, and the earth will swallow them. Continue. Let us take different video. This one, because obviously is reading the same hadith. Let us see a different one.
Mohammed, peace be upon him, did not marry a child, and I can prove it to you in less than 45 seconds.
Point really?
One is, in Islam, you are not allowed to marry a woman until she has passed the age of maturity. This is an...
Can you show us reference? In Islam, it says you cannot marry a woman until she passed the age of maturity. Where is that?
Islamic rule. If a woman has not menstruated, you are not allowed to marry her. Therefore, you cannot marry children.
See what this guy, this wicked he do? He don't show you reference. Let us go to the Quran. And we type the word menstruation. I will make everybody die laughing at you, you coward. According to Muhammad, speaking about divorce, talking about divorce of girls who never have their menstruation yet. Why? Because they are not mature. So women who they are mature, they have 3 months after divorce to wait before they can get married again and be effed. But those who have no courses, which mean they never have their menstruation. Why? Because they're still immature. And then the coward, he says, I will show you that in Islam you cannot marry children's. This is the Quran. This is the Hadith. Here we go. You're a prophet. Wife Aisha, she said, the prophet, he did marry me at the age of 6. And he effed me at the age of 9. And you coward, you are saying, in Islam, you cannot do that. Do you have dignity? Huh? Been to sit. A daughter of 6 years old, Aisha, she said. And he if her at the age of 9. And as you see, this is all is authentic. All is authentic. Look how many hadith. Al-Bukhari. All is authentic. And the funny here, it says that Muhammad, he put his penis inside her in full size when she was 9. So from 6 to 9, he was molesting her, fondling her. But when she became 9, he did build in her. That's what the hadith is saying. Bana fiha. He put it all in. Read carefully. Wabana. What bana mean? He pushed it in and he built. He construct his penis inside. All right? She was 6 years old. Huh? 6 years old, you coward, and you are lying to people saying, not only that, Aisha, she said that she was so little, to the point his mother, she was feeding her cucumber, so she can fatten her, so she can dump her in the house of Muhammad because she is so skinny. Who said that? Aisha. Read it and laugh at your prophet. And this is very authentic. My mother intended to make me gain weight to send me to be effed by the prophet. For sure, here doesn't say that to be effed, but we know the reason. To the house of the Messenger of Allah, but nothing nothing wished which she desired benefit me, which means still small. Till she gave me cucumber with a fresh date to eat, and then I gained as much weight as she desired. And this is the hadith reference. And then this potato, he says to you, I can prove to you in Islam, you don't marry children. Continue.
Aisha was not 9 years old, and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not marry a child, and I can prove it to you in less than 45 seconds. Point number one, she was 9 years old, but people mature at different stages. Back then, there was a lot more stress, and when there's a lot more stress in the environment, you age quicker, and she would.
See, a second ago in the previous video, he said, let me show you that he did not marry her when she was a child. Now he's saying that at the age of 9, because they have a stress at that time, they grow bigger. Well, hold on. We can go right now and check out how children in Afghanistan and how stressful they are. Girls are sold in Afghanistan for slavery and sex. How stressful that is at the age of 6 years old. Do you have a shame, you coward? Son of Muta. Guys, at that time, girls, they get stressed at the age of 9. They are growing big. But in the previous video, he says it's not true. Just the previous video. See, we are like clicking random videos of him. Let us see how big the girls in Afghanistan after stress. Remember, they are stressed. If you are stressed at that time, they are stressed, brother. Well, those are the girls in Afghanistan, and they are stressed very much. What they do to them? Look how big they are. Look, she is a wife of this guy. They are selling them. Those are for sale. Do you see the stressed girls? They grow so fast. Sold into marriage even in this age. This coward son of Muta is saying to us that girls at that time, because they are stressed out, they grow so fast. This is the wife. This is the wife she get married. This is the wife. Yes, brother. In Afghanistan, brother, at that time, in the time of Aisha, brother, the girls, they were stressed. Like, why they don't stress? They're stressed. Why there's no iPad? This is the wife. Look, she is putting eyeliner. They told her to put eyeliner because she is getting married. This is Aisha. You see how much they grow fast, brother? She is getting married. He is 55 years old. Look at this scumbag. Let us go to second video. Anything is more interesting. Here we go.
What do you mean Muslims can marry children? Why did nobody tell
We are done with this, you stupid idiot. We got you busted. Let us see something else. Marriage as a children. My haters have no brain. I like that.
Prove Islam doesn't promote child marriage in 60 seconds. Well, people say Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married a 9-year-old and they get all crazy about it. He married a child, he married a child. Well, through her own authentic writings, she was past the age of maturity. Both her parents were okay.
Where? Show us. Where? Where Aisha, she said she passed the age of maturity. Muhammad, when he died, Aisha, she was 18, you coward potato. She lived with him for 9 years, you donkey. According to the hadith, which you Muslim says it is trustworthy. Give us more, give us more. Page is not available, hold on. We go back. Because I'm not logging in TikTok. Oh, I cannot open the page no more. Give me a second.
I can prove to you that.
All right, let us go to his account and find a different topic. Do you agree with me?
I can convince you that Islam is the one true religion and
okay, hold on.
every other religion is false in 15 seconds.
We saw this one already. You need mortgage.
Bro, stop talking.
All right, this is a new video. Let us see this one. Again, if you are watching later, please cut those videos and make them many videos and let everybody laugh at this donkey.
Bro, stop talking about Islam. Get a life. Maybe you should get a life. You know what? Maybe you should actually get religion. Do you know why I talk about Islam so much? Because Islam will make your life better. If you read the Quran, if you've never...
How truthful is that? Let us see. Aisha, she said, I never saw suffering women as much as a Muslim women. Who said that? Aisha. And if Islam make your life better, why Muslims, all Islamic countries are very unhappy. In fact, if we check Islam in the beginning, the Muslims, they killed their own caliphate. Everybody killing everybody. Even Aisha, she took an army to kill Ali and his kids and his family. Abu Bakr and Umar, they killed the family of Ali. The Muslims later, they killed and slaughtered the children of Ali and Ali himself. Look how much Islam make you happy. Aisha, she said, not Christian Prince. What she is talking about? A Muslim man, he been taught by Muhammad he can beat his wife. A woman, she came to Muhammad. She was wearing a green veil. Green veil. She complained to her. And she showed her greenish spots in her skin caused by beating. It was the habit of ladies to support each other. So when the Messenger of Allah came, Aisha said, listen carefully, Islam make you happy. I have not seen any women suffering as much as a believing women, not Christian women, not a Hindu women, Muslim women, Aisha, she said. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes. Did Muhammad say to the man, why you beat her? No. Muhammad, he said to her, you know what? He is right. If your intention to go back to your husband, you should know that you cannot go back to your husband until somebody else F you. Because the stupid Muhammad, he came with a rule, very disgusting rule, that a Muslim woman, if she got divorced, she cannot go back to her husband unless a new husband F her. Sicko bastard. Imagine your mother, your father divorced her 3 times. She can't go back to him. You have to call your neighbor to F your mother, literally. And then your mother, she can come back to your dad. This is Quran, chapter 2, verse number 230. And if he divorced her the 3rd time, then she is not lawful to him therefore thereafter until she get if not married, until she if tankah a new man. And this is what Muhammad is speaking to this woman here, saying to her, oh, okay, hold on. The husband told me that your intention, you want to go back to Abdul Rahman. You want to marry Rif'a, your previous husband. You should know that Rif'a cannot have you back unless Abdul Rahman he if you. Next video. Why I become a Muslim? Tell us. Go ahead.
So I'm a Muslim. I'm a revert Muslim. I reverted to Islam.
You are a pervert because there's nobody can be a revert to Islam because Islam is not the original religion of anything except somebody is a pervert. That's why you like God to give you women who you can see through the marrow of their bones. And they are not even women, they are children, as the Quran says. Tell us why you convert to Islam.
About 13 months ago, and I want to tell you the story today of why I chose to revert to Islam.
Tell
a little
us.
over a year ago, I had been traveling around the world, country to country, with a business partner of mine at the time. And my business partner ended up actually being a Muslim, and he was Pakistani. We had just gotten done with
a Pakistani, they are good in drugs. What the business was?
1.5 month trip while we were in Turkey, and we were deciding where should we go next.
Turkey is the best place for prostitution and drugs.
He told me that he has family back home in Pakistan and he'd like to go see them. He's like, hey, do you want to come with me to Pakistan? I said, sure. You know what? I've never been. I'm a white man from America. Let's go try it out.
You are a white man from America? Like in Pakistan, they are not white, you idiot?
So we ended up arriving in Pakistan, and once I got there, I noticed something very different. The people. This was the first real Islamic country that
I know. This is the first real Islamic country. Let us see what they do in Pakistan. Check it out. This is the first Islamic country, brother. It's amazing. It is what? This is Pakistan. According to Google, it is #1 country in the world searching for sex with donkey. Rape videos. In fact, it's called in Google Pornstan. This is Pakistan, brother. They bring a guy, they dress him like a girl, and they F him after the party. This is Pakistan. Do you see it? This boy is to be F'd. This is Pakistan. Those are boys, those are not women. You see Pakistan, brother? Brother, Islamic country, brother. Pakistan. Alhamdulillah, brother. And Afghanistan is the same because they are the same nation. Disclaimer, Bachabazi. We want Pakistan. Hold on. Here we go. Pakistani, he didn't say. We want Pakistan, not Afghani. Hold on. Where is Pakistan? Oh boy. Yeah, kids for sex. Alhamdulillah. Prostitution in Pakistan. Don't forget, what about drug dealers in Pakistan? And the most famous thing in Pakistan, by the way, that people, they piss on the wall in every street. And if we go now, right now, and we see how dirty Pakistan is, you want to see how the beach in Pakistan, brother? Let me show you how the Muslims are so clean. You went to Pakistan, huh? Did you see how dirty the streets? Did you see how wicked? Did you see the shit everywhere? So this is the country where make you feel amazed? Take a look. The clean Muslims in Pakistan, they are coming to the beach to enjoy the beach, brother. Very beautiful, brother. The beautiful Muslims in Pakistan. Amazing beach in Pakistan. Nobody have beach like this except Pakistan. Do you? Because the Muslims are so clean. And speaking about this, I don't want to forget to mention that your prophet, he used to take shower with dead dogs and women blood from menstruation. Read. I decided to make a video for you for good, so people, they can post it everywhere and people would die laughing at you. The Arab asked Muhammad, questioning his mentality, his mental, his brain, like, are you all right? Are you all right, Muhammad? You stinky Muhammad. I ask a person in charge, let us go to the beginning. I heard the people asking Allah Prophet, water is brought for you from the well of Bida'ah. It's a well which dead dogs, menstrual clothes, and excrement of people thrown in. What Muhammad said? Verily water is pure and nothing, don't anything make it impure. So according to Muhammad, this water is pure. And this is why he takes shower with it. And what is the size of this well? Very small. Read it carefully. It doesn't even reach to your knee. It's not even 5 foot. So in the size of a jacuzzi and have dead dogs. It is below the private part of the body. And you can measure it with your clothes. This is how small it is. And what there is in dead dogs and women blood from menstruation rags and even stinky garbage. Read it. He performed ablution in it. While people, they throw menstruation rags, flesh of dogs, and garbage in it. Muhammad, he claimed that water is always pure, nothing make it impure. I mean, even the Muslim translation says stinking things thrown in it. Stinking, stinking, is stinking. I mean, dogs, dead dogs, we don't know how many. And then you say to me, when I went to Pakistan, you decide to become a Muslim because it's amazing? Next.
I will leave Islam if any Christian can answer these 4 questions.
Sure.
I'm 100% serious. I say this because I know you cannot answer the questions. Let's dive right in.
I want people to make a short video for this one. We do not know what he will say next, but let's go for it.
How would the Quran have known embryology? I'm just going to put that one.
That's a very good question. How the Quran know about the embryo? Let us go and see, and you will die laughing. Are you ready? This is the Quran talking about the embryo, you donkey. According to your stupid Quran, the nutfa, which is the semen, become a piece of dead blood. How the Quran knew this, brother? Brothers, sisters, how in the world the Quran knew this? It's astonishing. Do you think Do you think that if this is not from God, such a knowledge will exist? Brothers and sisters, how in the world the Quran use such a knowledge? It's astonishing that you ejaculate, your semen become a baby. We do not need a woman. Put your semen in a jar. Come next day, you will find your semen became a blood, and it's thick blood. How the Quran knew the embryology? Let me show you more what Muhammad said, potato. Read and laugh. According to Muhammad, the semen stay inside the women, and Allah, He make it this way. The women, she collects semen for 50 days. Some hadith says 40, 45. Read with me. How the Prophet knew this? Unbelievable. Amazing, amazing, beautiful. All of those hadith will prove Muhammad to be a fraud. But let us show you the most authentic ones. We don't want to show you the Da'if, brother. Chapter how a human being is created in his mother womb. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Shish kebab. When the drop of semen remain in the womb for 40 or 45 nights. Look, what the heck? The semen stay in the women womb for 45 nights? Hey Google. A doctor told me that semen can stay inside the women womb for 45 nights. Is that correct?
That is incorrect. Sperm typically survive in the female reproductive tract for 3 to 5 days under optimal conditions, though occasionally up to 7 days.
What the heck? Prophet Muhammad, he got it wrong? Guys, can you believe this? Seriously. How in the world Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who taught us in biology and psychology and fartology, especially fartology, he was able to know how the baby is made when he is illiterate. This is the Quran. The Quran taught us how the baby is made. Stage number 1, you ejaculate. Here we go. I have done that already. Put the semen here in the side. Then the semen will become a thick blood. The semen will become a thick blood. Hold on. Hey Google. Is it true that semen become a thick dead blood?
No, that is not true. Semen is a whitish-gray fluid composed primarily of water, plasma, mucus, sperm, and secretions from the seminal vesicles and prostate, containing nutrients like fructose and protein. It is not blood. If you see blood in semen, a condition called hematospermia, you should consult a doctor as it may indicate an infection or other issue, though it is often not serious.
I had ejaculate and then my semen turned into blood after I put it in the jar.
You are likely experiencing hematospermia, which is the presence of blood in semen. While the cause is often minor and can resolve on its own, like a small burst blood vessel, it can also be a sign of infection, inflammation, or prostate issues. You should see a doctor, general practitioner, or urologist to rule out any serious underlying causes.
If I put my semen after I ejaculate in the side, does it grow and become a blood and later become a baby?
No, semen cannot grow into blood or become a baby outside of a body. Semen contains sperm, but the sperm cannot survive long once the semen dries outside the body, and it cannot grow or develop. A baby requires the fertilization of an egg and growth inside a uterus, womb. If you see blood in your semen, hematospermia.
Okay, I got that. Can you tell me the stages of the baby?
The development of a baby in the womb is generally divided into 3 main stages. 1. Germinal stage, conception to week 2. The fertilized egg, zygote, moves to the uterus and implants in the wall. 2. Embryonic stage, weeks 3 to 8. The embryo's major organs, heart, and body structures begin to form rapidly. 3. Fetal stage, week 9 to birth. The developing baby is now called a fetus, and this longest stage is primarily for growth, refinement of organs, and weight gain.
What the heck? Muhammad is wrong. According to Muhammad, the baby is finished being created in 120 days. Is that right? Hmm? Let's find out. How Muhammad knew the embryo potato? Are you sure? Allah Prophet says that you will be collected in the womb of your mother for 40 nights. In the authority of Muhammad Potato Tomato says 40 nights and 40 days. What is that? The creation of any one of you is like that as semen collected in the womb of the mother for 40 nights. But then Google says to us that the semen cannot live more than 5 days maximum. What the heck? Well, you know what? 45 and 5 days is the same. There's only just wrong in 40 days. Not a big deal. I mean, it's very easy. All right? Very easy, very easy. Take it easy, easy. You know, the Quran discover all those things. Who can beat Muhammad and those, you know, okay. All right, okay, let's see. If we, let us go and type the word nutfa again. Hold on, let us start together. Let us see how Allah and the stages. Not only this, Muhammad, he never keep his mouth shut. And the more he talk, the more he make poo-poo. Let us see the stages. I want to show you what he says, the days, not only that, okay? Look, guys, look at this. Look at this explanation of Prophet Muhammad. Discovery, brother. Discovery. We used to sit with Abdullah and blah, 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 and we mention blah, 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 and then we mention blah, 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 and the blah, 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 and then after blah, 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 you know, he spoke about the baby. All right. Look what it says. The drop, which means semen, remain in the wombs for 40 nights, and then the blood congeals, and then it become a blood clot, brother, and then a lump of a flesh, and then Allah sent the angel, and he recorded his provision, brother. This is absolutely scientifically, you know, true. You know, this is, you know, okay. Now let us see how Muhammad even told us the stages and give us how many days for every stage. You see, if you ask Google, will give you stages of 1 week, 2 weeks, 3rd week, etc. Muhammad, he have different numbers. He got Google busted. Read carefully and laugh. Messenger of Allah, the truthful, and the receiver of truth. For sure he is a truthful. For sure he is a... What? Are you kidding me? Informed us saying, the creation of you, human, you idiot, you human, not rabbit, is gathered in the form of a semen in the womb of your mother for 40 days. Then it become a clinging thing. In similar period, 40 days. Plus 40 days, guys, type for me, type for me. How many days now? 40 days as a semen, 40 days as a blood, dead blood, alaqa, then 40 days as a lump. What is the total? 120 days. How Prophet Muhammad he knew this? I am sure all of you are astonished. Continue.
The Quran explains to a T embryology, which is not something we discovered to the last 200 years. So how could...
How? Impossible, impossible, brother, impossible.
The Quran have possibly known that unless it was the word of God. Number 2, the Quran explains how salt and fresh water don't mix. It explains altitude.
Salt and fresh water don't mix, you idiot. Okay, go to your kitchen. Get 1 cup which is salty and 1 cup is a fresh and put them together. Let us see if they will mix or not. In fact, the stupid Quran claim that there is 2C and Allah, He separate the 2C and they will never mix. Laugh with me. I'm glad the Muslim yesterday, the ex-Muslim, he gave me a video and I'm making you shish kebab for good. Everybody will die laughing at your stupidity. So this is the stupid Quran. It says in chapter 25, verse number 53. And chapter 27, verse number 61. And chapter 55, verse number 19. The stupid Muhammadi claimed that there is 2 C's. One of them is salty and one is fresh. And Allah, He put between them barzakh. What is the barzakh? The Muslim, they have videos about fresh water coming to the sea and they are not mixed in the ocean. This is a lie. They are mixing every second. But because there's a new current, it looked like 2 different body of water. They are 2 different body of water. But they mix all the time. But this is not what the Quran talking about. The Quran speaking about barzakh. Barzakh is a barrier which is a land. It is a dry land. This is why it says وَحِجْرًا مَحْجُورًا. It's a complete partition. If you don't believe me, I can take you to Ibn Kathir, chapter 25, verse number 53. Laugh with me. What is Ibn Kathir? The word of Allah, brother. This is the word of Allah. Chapter 25, verse number 53. Check it out. Your day is not good. It was your unlucky day. Your business was doing good until you came in front of a Christian press. And now you are shish kebab. Huh? You know, when a Muslim, he says something to you, any Muslim, I say to you, and I'm a Christian prince, I'm responsible for what I say. Every Muslim is a liar, is a fraud, especially when he speaks about Islam. This is Ibn Kathir explaining the Quran. This is not Christian prince, this is not a Jew, this is not a Hindu. All right? What the Quran speak about, that Allah, He created a dry land between the 2 seas, the fresh sea and the salty sea. Barrier mean partition, which is a dry land. A complete partition mean a barrier prevent them from reaching the others, like the ayat مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Abdul. So you stupid God, he claimed, all right, that there's 2 C's and they never mix, but we know that this is absolutely false. The stupid Muhammad, he thought, when we dig under the ground, we find the fresh water, so there's a sea, and that is a fresh water, and that never mix with the salty water. Allah, He put a barrier between them. This is what Muhammad is saying. But we know that all the fresh water is coming from the sea. The rain, the main source of rain is the ocean. The ocean, the sea is 70-something% of the whole earth size. So the fresh water we have, the source of it is coming from the sea. The sea, the heat, the sun, the wind push the cloud come to us. We have rain or snow. According to your stupid Quran, it is the opposite. There's 2 C's and they never mix. This potato, he think he have a discovery. Tell us more.
And it explains how the sun and moon have 2 separate orbits. That leads me to my question.
The sun and the moon, they have 2 separate orbit. Are you sure? Let me show you. Actually, we mentioned already the orbit of the sun. The sun goes every day and sit in a boiling water. This is the orbit of the sun. Let us check it out. Are you saying to me you know the Quran better than Muhammad and you know what Islam teaching more than Muhammad? Hmm? This is the orbit of the sun. According to who? To Muhammad. And let's see, when I say to me Muhammad is a donkey, I agree. Here we go. Muhammad explaining to us where the sun goes. All right? Read it. Read it, Abdul. Abu Dhar told the sun that at the sunset, he's speaking to Muhammad. Muhammad told him, do you know where the sun goes? The Abdul says to him, I do not know, because Allah and His Messenger knows best for sure. Muhammad is very educated. Allah educated him. It goes and prostrate itself under Allah's throne and ask for permission to depart. So according to the stupid Muhammad, when he saw the sun setting, it is the sun going. Guys, does it say it goes? Does it say the sun goes? Or I'm making things up. So it's not the earth going around itself. It is the sun going. Do you know where the sun goes? Do you know where the sun went? Read it carefully. Where the sun went. So according to the stupidity of the Quran and Muhammad, the sun every day move from the east to the west and then prostrate himself under the throne of Allah and ask for permission. And that will continue until the day of judgment. The sun will ask for the same request, but is not going to be granted. Allah will not give a permission to the sun to depart, will not be granted. He will command the sun to come back where it's coming from, which means the sun will appear from the west. And it will rise in the place of sitting. Where is the place of sitting? In the west. Where is that? You know, this guy, it was an unlucky day for him that his video came in my way. And by the way, if you know him, please tell him you are more than welcome to call me. If you have the guts, if your balls are not well nuts, if you have real nuts, call me and bring with you the Pakistani guy. And not only that, bring me Hijab and Fifi and Lily and Dudu so we can die laughing at you all. I'm a Christian prince, my friend. You have no idea. And we got you busted with no mercy. You stupid idiot. You want to make money from the fool? I will make you make money. I will get you rich. I will get you busted. We will give you a birthright now. Continue.
How could we have known any of that 1400 years ago? Once again, we didn't discover that until the last couple hundred years. How do we know that? Number 3, the Quran also explains the Big Bang Theory, how clouds form, and how...
The Quran speak about the Big Bang Theory? Are you sure? Big Bang, Big Bang. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when I come for you? Big Bang, Big Bang. Sajid, he wanna call me? Okay, Sajid, hold on. Let me open my Discord. Sorry, I did not see you. Let us finish this guy, the Big Bang, and I will let you join me in Discord, all right? Guys, Sajid, he wanna call me in Discord. Are you the same person in the video? Are you? If you are not, then later. If you are, I will take you for a snack. Are you? Say yes. Say yes. Don't worry, you know, nothing will happen to you. So guys, the Quran mentioned the Big Bang. Let us see the Big Bang. I will give you a Big Bang, you Muslims. I will give you the biggest Big Bang in your head. The Quran says, the Quran says that Allah, what the heck is that? Hold on, my keyboard is stuck. The Quran mentioned the Big Bang? What? I can't believe it. That's amazing. Chapter 21, verse number 30. Have not those who disbelieve known that the heaven and the earth were joined together as one united piece, and then we parted them? And according to Muslims, this is the Big Bang. Just to show you how stupid you are, look at this. It says, don't the disbelievers see? This is something they see, you idiot. In their time, this is not a discovery. Have not who disbelieve known, which means this is something they know. Here's a question, don't you know? That the earth and the heaven, they used to be joined together and he separated them. What the Quran is speaking about. Let us love together. According to the Quran, Allah created the earth first. Is that what the Big Bang teach? That the earth created before the space? It is he who created for you that all on earth, and then he went to the heaven and he made them seven heaven. So according to the Quran, the earth is created before the sky. Let us go to Tafsir, because he might say, it doesn't say that, CP. Chapter 2, verse number 29. Chapter 2, verse 29. Read and laugh. Which one is created first? It is he who created for you all that on earth, and that all so that you benefit. Then after creating the earth, he turned and that he made his object heaven and leveled them. Which one is created first? The earth. Let us see different interpretation. This is a Jalalain. Maybe you don't like a Jalalain. Let's show you something else. Ibn Abbas, the cousin of Muhammad. Read carefully. He who created for you, he made subservient for you all that on earth, of beast, plant, etc. And then he turned to the creation of the heavens. So according to the stupid Quran, the earth was finished first, and then the stars and the sky and etc. But we know, according to science, as long as you are talking about science, that the sun is way older. According to science, not me. I don't believe in this, you know. I'm just, you are talking about science, Big Bang. You stupid Muslim believe in the Big Bang now? So you don't believe in 6 days? Does the Big Bang believe in 6 days? Let us see, to make it simple, that Muhammad, he believed the earth created first thing, before even any stars. If we go in the Quran or the Hadith, we will find this. It is your unlucky day to come in my way. This is your stupid prophet, and this is authentic. Don't tell me this is not authentic. This is Sahih Muslim. What is the first thing Allah created? Allah, the exalted, the clear, created the clay on Saturday. Is that what the Big Bang says? The clay is the first thing to be created in Saturday. And he created the mountains in Saturday. Big Bang, huh? And then he created the trees on Monday. Big Bang, Big Bang. And then he created all things entirely in labor in Tuesday. And he created the light in Wednesday. Big Bang, Big Bang. And then he caused the animal to spread on Tuesday and Thursday. And he created Adam in a Friday afternoon. Big Bang. This is a brother, Big Bang, you know. Brother, this bust is Big Bang to you. This is a Big Bang? I didn't know that. I'm learning from you. Man, the Big Bang in the Quran? So what the Quran is speaking of is fictional stupid. According to the Quran, after Allah created the earth and He made the heaven, He lift up the sky. The sky was on the earth. Chapter 13, verse number 2. It is He who raised the heaven without any pillars that you can see. If we check the reference, we will see that Muhammad believed that there is a pillars. How we know? We go to chapter Qaf. According to the Quran, in chapter Qaf, there is a mountain called Qaf. And this mountain is an Azhar mountain. It's a blue mountain, surrounding the earth from every direction. In the top of it, Allah, He made the sky as a roof. Verse number 1. From the narration of the authority of Ibn Abbas, he said the interpretation of Allah saying Qaf, he says Qaf is an Azhar mountain overlooking the world. And the color of the sky is taken from a Big Bang, huh? You are so cute. Seriously, you are so cute. This is a serious Big Bang. Big Bang in the Quran. So when the Quran says Allah created the earth and the heaven in 6 days, Allah is lying. The Big Bang believe in 6 days or 6 billion trillion years, you donkey. Do you see how the Muslims, they lie? When I say every Muslim is a liar, I'm not insulting. Look how many times the Quran says Allah created the earth and the heaven and whatever between them in 6 days. Zakir Naik, he tried to fix it. He says 6 days, brother, mean period. Hold on. What period? It's a day. It's a day. And even the hadith make it clear, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. Even Adam, he asked Allah to finish him before the sun set because he started creating him at a Friday Asr time, which means afternoon. So when Allah was late, Adam says to him, oh Allah, finish me before the sun set. This is why in the Quran it says, وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَجُولًا. كَانَ الْإِنسَانُ what? عَجُولًا. What does that mean? A human being was ever hasty because Adam, he asked Allah to finish him before the sunset. Do you see your stupid Quran? Read the interpretation of Ibn Kathir. Adam asked Allah to finish him before sunset. And here you ask yourself, what kind of God took him so long to finish Adam? In fact, took him 40 years to dry Adam only. Just to dry Adam. He made Adam from mud. I don't know what to say. I mean, every Muslim is really, I don't know how those people, they, but business is good. Can you imagine how much money he will make from those videos? And the Muslim will swarm his videos. Allahu Akbar, brother. Yes, brother. They knew he's lying. Every Muslim knew that he's lying. They knew that everything they say about the Quran and the Hadith is a lie. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَجُولًا. This is Ibn Kathir, and this is Muhammad speaking, telling Salman al-Farisi the story. And the man is ever hasty. Salman al-Farisi from Ibn Abbas, blah, 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 report the story of Adam when he wanted to get up before his soul reached his feet. And when his soul was breathed into him, it entered his body from his head downward. When it reached his brain, he sneezed. Achoo! Achoo! He said, Alhamdulillah. Adam, he speak Arabic. Hey, Adam, you are an Arab like me? Unbelievable. How are you doing, cousin? He said, praise be to Allah. And Allah said, may your Lord have mercy on you, Adam. And when it reached his eyes, he opened them. Hold on. So he sneezed before his eye. Like, which one will arrive first, to his nose or to his eyes? How he sneezed, yet it did not reach his nose and mouth yet, and now it's reaching his eyes. Shouldn't be in the order. It says downward. Read downward. Smart Muhammad. And then when it reached his eyes, he opened them, blink, blink, blink. And then he reached his body and limbs. He started to stare at them in wonder. He wanted to get up before it reached his feet. Idiot Adam, come on, wait. But he could not. He said, "Oh Allah, make it happen before the night come." This is the Big Bang. And again, this is Ibn Kathir. This is your Muslim website. You've been cooked. Potato. Continue.
Iron comes from space. When you look at this,
Iron comes from Spain. This is what the Quran says. Let us go to the Quran. Guys, iron came from Spain. From the space, sorry. When Allah he says he sent down, you idiot, he mentioned everything is sent down. Even food, even feather, even clothing. So if you go and read where it says Allah he sent down, by the way, just to let you show you how stupid you are. The iron we have is not coming from the space. That is a big fat lie. Some of the iron we have is coming from the space because the earth magma is full of iron, you donkey. Don't you know? Don't you know that the earth magma is a massive storage of iron? Who told you that iron came from the space? We have many kind of minerals, not only iron. Those are metal, go from the space and hit the earth. But they are not the main source of iron in the earth. But look what the Quran says. Allah he said down, this is the word anzalna. Just to show you the word anzalna. This is what's sent down. We sent down a book. Did Allah send Quran printed from the heaven? No. Allah he sent the mizan, which is the scale. Did Allah send us any scale? No. Allah he sent down the iron. When he mentions send down, he's saying everything you have, it's my gift to you. This is not about sending down iron physically, you idiot. And why Allah he sent iron? So people can kill each other. Read it. A mighty power for war. So the Muslim he forgot, or in purpose he decided to ignore, that Allah he sent down the scriptures. Not revealed, by the way, translation is false. Here it says, Anzalna. What Anzalna mean? We send down. We send down with them the books. But this is wrong, because the prophet did not came down from heaven. We send down the scriptures. What else? We send down the scale. And the scale. So we send down the book and the scale so the people can do just. Did Allah send any scale? No. And we send down the iron. The Muslim, they ignore the rest. If I take the word anzalna, which the Muslim they are saying mean send down, which is true, by the way, it says send down, but not obviously not physically. Read carefully. This is the word anzalna. It's all over the Quran. Everything Allah he say he gave to you, he says anzalna. 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 Read it. And as long we are mentioning anzalna, Allah he sent down, this time physically, two angels. One of his name is Harut and the other one is Marut. Allah he sent Harut and Marut to open Harry Potter school. Big Bang. Read it. So Allah he sent down Harut and Marut, and where they landed? In the Babylon Tower. Very normal. The Babylon Tower at that time was the highest. How the angels will come down? Like, are you kidding me? There is no airport at that time. So they come and they climb on the Babylon Tower, which is going to go to heaven. So they go down, second elevator, third elevator, fifth elevator, you know, from sky to sky, and then they land in the ground. And then Harut and Marut, they open a school to teach magic. Before any student he joined the magic, he says, believe not, we are only a trial, so disbelieve not by learning this magic from us, brother. Big Bang? Your God teach black magic. And he sent two angels to teach Big Bang. And you are telling me, Big Bang, you idiot? Teach him magic. And what this magic for? To teach you how to cause the wife and the husband beating each other and hating each other to cause divorce. Allah sent angels to teach, to open a school so we can make the wife and the husband fight. Hello? Hello? Zakir Naik. What? My name is Zakir Naik. Please help me. My wife, she is beating me. And she is using her food and she is beating the hell of me. Zakir Naik, why she is beating you? I swear by Allah, I did not do anything wrong to her. Like, Abdul, hold on. Maybe you didn't cheat on her. I swear by Allah, I did not cheat. Okay. Maybe, like he did not buy her a gift since long time ago because Muslims always, they like to have money and they are obsessed with money. I swear by Allah, I gave her very expensive bed from Kaaba. I gave her bring urine. What urine? You mean camel urine? Exactly. Okay, Zakir, hold on. I have no solution for this except go into the Quran. Chapter 2, verse number 102. Harut and Marut, they open a school to teach magic. And the purpose of this magic to cause the wife and the husband they fight. Brother, you are under the black magic of Harut and Marut, which sent by Allah. Get them breath. I need your help. I cannot help you because this is magic taught by Allah. You want to stop Allah? How dare you? Allah sent two angels, very expert in black magic, and the purpose of the education is to teach you how to make the wife and the husband fight and get divorced. So I don't ask me for help. I cannot do anything. Get some breath. Faith of all you are making a big fat lie. Harut and Marut, they taught the people at that time, not at this time. Abdul, no, they taught at that time, and then people teach people until now. That's why your prophet, somebody put a black magic on him and his penis cannot stand up. Get some breath. Faith of all, this is true story. The prophet, somebody put a black magic on him, so his penis cannot stand up. But my penis is not working. Your penis is not working too? Exactly. Oh, this is bigger than what I thought. Things are getting complicated. So the penis of the prophet was not working because of the black magic. He imagined himself having sexual intercourse with his wife, but in fact he did not. And you are the same? Great and Prince. I swear by Allah, I tried everything. Even I watched porn. What? Watch what? Porn. Like you mean porn. Exactly. And nothing happened. Zakir Naik, hold on. Let me ask my friend. He's a doctor. Hey, Google. I have a friend, his penis cannot stand and cannot perform any duty with his wife. What do you think the reason?
Erectile dysfunction, ED, can have many causes, including physical factors like heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and nerve damage, or psychological factors such as stress, anxiety, or depression. Your friend should consult a doctor for a proper diagnosis and discussion of treatment options.
Don't you think the real reason, according to him, is a black magic?
It is important to understand that while belief in black magic exists, medical science attributes erectile dysfunction to physical and psychological causes. A doctor can best evaluate his condition. Would you like me to search for information on the medical cause?
I would like you to search for me. If it's true, I can cause my friend to be divorced from his wife by using black magic because I like his wife.
I cannot provide information or assistance regarding black magic, causing harm, or interfering in someone's marriage. These actions go against safety policies.
Is it black magic is real?
Belief in black magic is present in many cultures globally, but there is no scientific evidence that it has actual supernatural power.
What about the blue magic?
Blue magic has a few meanings. It is a brand of hair care products, a street name for a high purity type of...
What are you talking about? You are being racist now. Why it's called black magic?
The term black magic most likely originates from the medieval term nigromancy, a variation of necromancy, which was influenced by the Latin word for black, niger, meaning evil or forbidden arts. The black/white classification reflects the ancient human concept of darkness as evil and light as good, and it is generally not rooted in modern racial connotations.
Prophet Muhammad, he taught black magic. Do you think he's wrong?
Prophet Muhammad's teachings in Islam prohibit the practice of black magic, SIHR.
What do you mean forbid? The Quran is clear that Allah he sent two angels, Harut and Marut, to teach black magic.
Surah 2 to 102 mentions Harut and Marut taught people a certain knowledge in Babylon, but they always warned that they were only a trial and urged people not to disbelieve by using it.
So do you think I can open a school to teach people how to fight with their wives, and that by disclaimer will be okay legally?
Teaching or promoting illegal activity, domestic abuse, or violence is not.
So are you saying Harut and Marut, they are promoting illegal activities?
No, the Quran states that Harut and Marut were sent as a trial and warned people.
Who cares if a trial? So now I can cause somebody to divorce and I say this is a trial. Can I try that on you?
No, you cannot cause someone to divorce and legally claim it was just a trial.
A second ago you said to me that Allah he sent it down as a trial. So why Allah can do it, I cannot?
Allah is considered to have supreme authority and unique power in Islam.
Is that in the Constitution of America?
The U.S. Constitution does not specifically mention divorce or prohibit a
I'm talking about Allah. What's wrong with you, you idiot?
I understand that your earlier questions were about Islamic theology.
So was Allah right? Is the purpose of doing such a thing to cause divorce? How that can be a trial if I am causing somebody divorce by stripping him from being able to think and decide correctly by using a black magic power, if it is true exist? How that is ethical?
The purpose of the trial involving Harut and Marut was to test people's faith, not to endorse the act of divorce.
So to test people's faith, I put on them a black magic and I destroy a family?
The Islamic view is that the knowledge itself was a test of faith, and those who chose to misuse it to destroy.
What do you mean misuse it? He told them to use it.
The Quran states that Harut and Marut explicitly warned every person they taught, saying, "We are only a trial, so do not disbelieve by."
Who care why he teach evil and he claimed that this is a trial? Isn't it wrong to teach people evil and then say to them, don't do it? Why I open a school and give you a certificate to do and learn how to do evil, harming families, and that suppose is a trial?
In Islamic theology, the knowledge was given as a test of free will. The intent was to show the clear.
That's absolutely false. In Islam, there is no free will. The Muslim, they believe in the Qadar, which is no free will. Allah, He write your destiny before you are born. 40 years before He created you, He decide your destiny, your good deed, your bad deed, and everything will do. So you are giving me fake news.
In Islamic theology, while Allah has predestined all events, qadar, Muslims are also believed to have free will, ikhtiyar, to choose between.
How you can say such a thing if this is against Allah when He said everything is destined? Can you give me a reference that you have a free will?
The concept of free will, ikhtiyar, is generally derived from verses that state humans will be held accountable for their deeds, such as the following. This is up.
That present a contradiction because either we have a free will to do deed or we don't.
Islamic scholarship generally addresses this by viewing it as a paradox. Allah knows and wills all, but humans still make choices for which they are.
That is false. Let me show you the reference in Sahih al-Bukhari. It says an angel will write your deeds for the future. This is not about knowing. He decide for you. Even Muhammad he says that one of you will reach the door of the heaven and there's a distance of one arm between him and heaven, and then what is written by Allah. His fate will take over and he proceed and he act as people of hell and he go to hell. Do you know this hadith?
Yes, I am familiar with the hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari 3208, where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentions an angel writing 4 things, including a person's deeds and whether they will be blessed or wretched in religion. This hadith is a primary text used by scholars to support the concept of qadar, predestination, and it highlights the tension with the idea of free will in Islamic theology. Muslim scholars generally attempt to reconcile this by stating Allah's foreknowledge. What is written is based on Allah's eternal knowledge of the choices a person will make.
You see, Google, he give you what Muslim they say. But if you go to the hadith right away, you will see that the Muslim believe that everything is destined and nothing is a choice. In fact, the hadith I mentioned, Google ignore it. Maybe Google do not know about it. It mentioned that one of you, which means any one of you, all of us, when there is only one arm distance between you and heaven or hell, he mentioned both cases, you act like a people of heaven until there's one arm between you and heaven. Almost you are there. And then what Allah wrote for you, and this is the hadith, and this is in al-Bukhari and Muslim, this is very authentic. You are almost in the door of heaven. So one of you would perform the action of the dwellers of Jannah, which means heaven, until there's only one cubit between him and heaven. When what is foreordained would come to pass. This is why we say Islam is just a stupid cult. So now you pray every day 5 times a day, and you kill the Christian, you Jew, the Hindus, everybody, you kill everybody, you rape your wife, and you perform the true Islam by hating everybody, by become possessed by demon. And then, as you see, this guy is doing everything. Almost he is in the front of heaven. But what Allah He foreordained is not what you do. It's not what you perform. What Allah foreordained, which is destiny, is going to come to pass, will take over. And then He will start acting. Then He would perform the action of the inmate of hell, and he enter it. Do you see it? This is Islam. And this is the stupidity of Muhammad. How in the world anyone can believe such a garbage? Shall we continue with the video, guys? Or have enough with mercy with this guy? Let's continue.
Just 100% logically, how can you deny these miracles? What is your answer for where these miracles came from? Question number 4, Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not write the Quran. So if we have all these miracles, all this crazy stuff that no modern scientist didn't even find out until the last couple hundred years, you're saying that either Muhammad was the smartest man who's ever lived, or God wrote the Quran. And what I think is God wrote the Quran. So what I want to know from you is, did God write?
God wrote the Quran. Let us see.
You have to change your name now that you're a Muslim. Do I really? Do I really? Because I don't think I do. Can you show me one piece of credible information, credible Islamic literature that tells me I need to change my name?
I will show you. Muhammad himself, he changed his name. His real name is Qatham, which is the semen or the dirt of the hyena. He called himself Muhammad. His name never was Muhammad. So if Muhammad do that, you have to follow the steps of Muhammad, from Qatham to hyena. This is why we see in the Quran, sometimes Muhammad, his name is Ahmed, sometimes his name is Muhammad. Muhammad himself, he says, I have 5 names. So you have to have many names, not only one. I advise you to change. Like call yourself a rabbit. If you call me and debate me, I will call you a lion. All right? So Muhammad, he have 5 names. And those fit with you too. Muhammad, he says, I have 5 names. And read with me. He said, I have 5 names. I am Muhammad. I am Ahmed. I am Al-Mahi. I am Al-Hashir. Muhammad, he claimed to be Allah because Al-Hashir is Allah. The one who gathered people in the day of judgment is Allah. Muhammad, he claimed to be Allah. So, and he is al-aqib. He is the last one. So Muhammad, he claimed to be the last one. He's God. So don't tell me you don't have to change your name. The Muslims are asking you, demanding to change your name. You eat it, you have to do it. Potato. Let us see a different video. Any other video? Is that the same guy? No. What do you guys think? This is the same guy?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Well, this is not the same guy. Where is that? We want the same guy.
You have to change.
Hold on.
You have to change.
Let us find from his channel. Read the Quran. Ham is not worth it.
Being a Muslim.
What the ham will do? Hold on. Tell us about the ham.
Being a Muslim would suck. I love ham sandwiches. I'll level with you. Ham sandwiches are good. I did like them. But if I'm going to be honest, if I get to choose between eternal paradise in heaven or ham sandwiches, I would be an absolute moron if I picked ham sandwiches. Being a Muslim would suck. I love ham sandwiches. I'll level with you. Ham sandwiches are good.
Hold on. Why, if you eat ham sandwiches, you will go to hell, but if you rape and you kill and you steal, you will not? Isn't it Allah? He say in the Quran, He erased all kind of sin, except shirk, which means you can fornicate, you can steal, you can do all kind of sin except one sin, only one, which is to associate with him somebody. This is your Quran. So who is the one who told you that you cannot eat ham? The Quran says it's forbidden for you. We will go to the verse, by the way, so to read it. Allah, He erased all sin. Chapter 9, 39, verse number 53. But then Allah, He contradicts Himself. He says, Allah, He erased all sin except the one who commits shirk. All sin is forgiven except shirk. Allah forgive not that partner should set up with Him, but He forgive every sin, anything else. So I have a bad news for you, you idiot. You can eat pork. And I want you to explain to people how eating pork will send you to hell. But beating your wife, this is chapter 4, verse number 34, the same chapter saying you can beat your wife. So how beating the wife will not send you to hell, but eating a sandwich of pork will send you to hell? Is that a stupid cult? Yes. And the Muslim, they lie in the translation. They say beat them lightly if it's useful. Look at the false translation. Anything you see between the bracket is not in the Quran. Beat your women if you fear their obedience. They did not even disobey you. So now you eat a sandwich made of ham. Allah will send you to hell, brother. But Allah, He taught you to beat your wife, scourge them, jail them in their rooms, having sex with 6 years old girl, lying. You can lie in Islam. You can take false oath in Islam. Allah will not take you accountable for false oath. Huh? Have you ever heard of somebody will go to hell for he took a sandwich of hamburger, but he will go to heaven for taking false oath? You can swear as much as you want as a Muslim, lying to everybody, as long you don't mean it. So you can say to the police, I swear by Allah, I did not steal. But this is not your intention. Your intention is to protect yourself from being arrested. You can do that. You can take an oath for your wife saying, I will never go sleep with someone else, as Muhammad did with Hafsa. But in the same time, you can break your oath because Allah will not take you accountable for the false oath you took. And this is totally against the teaching of our God. This is why Jesus says, either you say yea, nay, yea, yea, or nay, nay, and anything is from the devil, and your prophet is from the devil. So this guy, he tried to convince us that Islam is a religion because they don't eat ham. But they have sex with the children, they beat their women, they are allowed to lie, they can steal. And that is supposedly a good ethic. Stop chasing dunya.
Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, slept on a straw bed. So why do you think that you need a Lamborghini?
Muhammad, he slept where? What? Hold on, I want to play this one again.
Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, slept on a straw bed. So why?
You stupid idiot. Muhammad, he have 13 wives, and each one of them, she have a number of slave servants. And you are saying to me, Muhammad, why you are chasing Lamborghini? In the time of Muhammad, the Lamborghini, it was houses and horses and women and slaves. So how many women and how many slaves and how many horses and how much money Muhammad you have? Let us show you the wives of Muhammad are fighting over the Lamborghini. This guy, he noticed that Islam make good business. He said, okay, let's make some videos, and those people, you know, me and my mom and etc., we will fool those people. This is the wife of Muhammad fighting over the Lamborghini. What is the Lamborghini coming to Muhammad for free? Gifts. Aisha, she received 100,000 piece of gold, ounce. We don't know what the weight they are using. Just for her, the memory of her marriage, or the what do you call it? Anniversary of her marriage. A gift. Prophet Muhammad was so poor, very poor. Prophet Muhammad don't have anything. The wives are fighting. They send even Fatima, says, please tell Muhammad why he allow Aisha to take all the gifts. And here you see how Muhammad is injustice. They ask him to be fair. We urge you to be equitable with regard the matter of the daughter of Abu Quhafa, which is Abu Bakr. Muhammad, he refused. And Aisha, she was insulting all the wives. And she forbid any Muslim to send a gift to any house of the wives of Muhammad, or else they will be killed. Read it. And Muhammad, he said to his daughter, don't hurt me by Aisha. I never received Quran except in the clothes of Aisha, because Muhammad was a gay. He used to wear his wife's clothes. And all the wives are asking for is to be equitable, to be just. Muhammad, he refused. And this is the reference in front of you. And this is Sahih. We can find the hadith in many locations. And all of those are authentic. وَهُنَّ يُنْشِدْنَكَ الْعَدْلَ فِي ابْنَةِ أَبِي قُحَافَةَ. They are asking you justice. Muhammad refused to do justice. Why? Because this is his spoiled girl. The little girl who he enjoy it. Look how many times it says, we're asking you for justice. The translation here saying equitable. In Arabic it says justice. Muhammad never performed justice with any of his wives. And then they give you speeches about Islam teaching you to be just between the wives. But the one who told them supposedly what they claim to say, he never been just to the wives. I better stop here, and maybe we can continue with the stupid videos of this guy some other time. And I hope the Christian will cut his videos, those videos I made, and share it everywhere. Make him shish kebab. Expose his lies. He's just doing business. Did we get you busted? Before I go, there's the guy who claimed he's a Muslim. He want to debate me. Are you still there? The guy who he claimed that he want to debate me. Are you there? I can open Discord right away. I will take your call as the last call. Are you still there? Is he gone? All right. So we have to say, Mr. Hamburger, Christian Prince today, he made you ham. And he bust you. And we did. And this is what we do here. We bust you, all Muslims, non-stop. You are a bunch of liars. This guy is here? He is here? Okay, let me open Discord then. I am in Discord actually, but I did not open the stage. If he is here, let me take him for a snack. And if you are a sheikh, it's better. Here we go. I am in Discord. Are you the Muslim guy, Asadullah? Are you the one? Let me invite you. His name is the Lion of Allah. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam, salam.
What Muslim guy?
What Islam is about?
I only saw that you are going on the stage and
Uh-huh.
I just joined. I
Okay.
have no knowledge of any Muslim guy.
No, aren't you a Muslim?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, tell me why you are a Muslim?
Akhi, in order to receive, have you read the Quran Kareem?
No, I did not. Did you?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, tell me about it. Uh-huh.
You can find out the beautiful rewards that Allah promises His faithful slaves. Including in those rewards is what we call the Hur el-Ain.
Uh-huh. Tell me about them.
In Arabic, it means the virgins.
The virgins,
and
okay.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He describes them in the Quran.
Uh-huh.
He said, they're going to have big eyes.
Okay.
They're going to have transparent skin.
Uh-huh.
They're going to have large behinds. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises for all of eternity, you will get to have sex with them.
Okay.
Now, this is a beautiful
No,
promise.
explain to me that you will see the marrow of their bones. As I understand, Muhammad, he says that we will see the marrow of their bones. Explain to me how that is beautiful.
Aren't you attracted to the bones of women? I am.
Sure. Are you a dog?
No.
So why you like bones? What do you mean you're attracted to the bones?
I don't know. I just find them very attractive.
Ah, okay. Why it's attractive? I mean,
I don't know. Some men are attracted to feet. Some men are attracted to hands. I am attracted to bones.
Ah, okay. And which like you like all the bones or specific bones in the women?
Me personally, I really like the backbone, but
the backbone will not be. There's no butt there. I mean, it's only bones.
True, but it's still attractive, even if there is no butt.
Oh, okay. And what about you? Are you going to be bones too, or only the women?
The women, We are not told in the Quran whether our bones will be visible. Inshallah, they will. I hope.
Oh,
But I
okay.
don't know.
You
It was
think
not revealed.
you think Muslim women they will get like so excited when they see the man because they will not see your penis, they will see only bones, and as you know, the penis does not have any bones, so she will not even see your penis.
Well, she doesn't have to, first of all. Because nobody cares whether a woman wants or doesn't want. Nobody cares about that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So the most important thing
Uh-huh.
is the Hur al-Ain. Allah does not even say they have desires.
Okay.
For all we know, they are living.
I'm going to show you an image in the screen.
Inshallah.
You tell me if you like this image, please. Do you like it? This image? I'm sharing with you on the screen.
Let me see. Ooh. Akhi.
What?
Ooh. Turn it off. You are leading me into sin.
Why it's
This is too
sin?
beautiful.
It's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
This is too beautiful.
Really?
It is too beautiful.
Okay. What you will do now if you are there?
Akhi, it would be haram for me to describe.
Why you would describe? Just okay. No, nobody is here. Nobody is listening.
No, Akhi, there are 20 people in the audience. I don't want to
20?
make them haram. Yeah, 20.
Yeah. Okay. Do you like her? Do you like the shoes?
I prefer barefoot, but
Barefoot.
yeah, they are nice.
Where is
Yes.
where is her eyes?
I think it's on the right side. Alhamdulillah.
No, hold on. In the beginning, you told me that Allah will give you those women. Allah will give them big eyes. Where is the eyes? You cannot see eyes. If you can see the bones,
I
how
can
you
see them.
No, you cannot see the eyes. There's no eyes. There's a
Yes, I
head.
can.
There's
Yes, I can.
No, there's a skull.
Yeah, and the skull have eyes, and they are big eyes.
There's no eyes. Look at the picture. There's no eyes because if you see through, listen. If you see through, you will not see any eyes because this is a flesh. You will see only the bones and the marrow of the bones.
No, Allah, I can see eyes right now.
You can see eyes right now, guys. How you can see eyes right now? Where?
I don't. Maybe I am special. Allahu a'lam, but I can see eyes.
You are a special. Okay. And do you see the shit inside them? Is that to make you horny?
I cannot see the shit inside the eyes, but I can see it.
Not in the eyes. Not in the eyes. If you see the shit inside the eyes, that will be a problem. That means you are shit because they will be looking at you. Don't say that.
Yeah,
I'm talking about their butt. About their butt. Are you going to see the shit? As long as you can see through, you will see the shit inside them.
I see more than just shit. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oh, what do you see? Tell me.
Yeah, no, other stuff. Haram stuff.
Like what?
Something white. I don't know how it got there, but astaghfirullah, I don't.
Something white.
Yeah, I wanna think how it got there. A'udhu billah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I can tell your name is Asadullah, is a true name. The lion of Allah. By the way, you said your name is Asadullah. Is it true that Allah have a dog, not a lion?
According to my sheikh once mentioned this to me.
All right.
There is a hadith which says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a dog.
Correct. So why you are calling yourself Asadullah? Shouldn't you say call yourself the dog of Allah?
Because there is my friend, I have another friend, he calls himself Kalb Allah.
Okay. Can you invite him?
He doesn't have Discord.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see.
He says Discord is
Jewish. Do you remember where it says that Allah have a dog? And he sent you to eat.
I would have to ask my sheikh.
Okay, let me share it with you. This is a tafsir al-Tabari.
Please.
That when the cousin of Muhammad refused to believe in Allah, Muhammad, he told him, aren't you afraid that Allah will send his dog to eat you?
Oh yes, I remember. Yes.
Do you have a brother next to you? He was saying sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Somebody was next to you?
No, it was me.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody. He says, أَمَا تَخَافَ أَنْ يَأْكُلَكَ قَلْبُ اللَّهِ. Aren't you afraid that the dog of Allah will eat you?
Alhamdulillah. It's true. Allah has a dog.
Are you not afraid that God's dog will eat you?
But why Allah have a dog? I thought dogs are dirty.
Allah.
What do you mean? What do you mean Allah knows best? If Allah forbid you from having dogs at home, and then we find that Allah Himself have dogs, not only one. So isn't this this is hypocrisy?
Nah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is better, is bigger. Yani, for example, let me give you an example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have 2 right hands. I only have 1 right hand. So I am deficient. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he have a dog. I don't have a dog.
How Allah have 2 right hands?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have 2 right hands, a leg, a foot. According to a hadith, he also has a penis.
No, you are not saying the truth now. Where it says he have a penis?
Yeah. Wallahi, I will show you. Wallahi, I would send in the side chat, but unfortunately I don't have image perms.
No, you can.
But there is
You can give us a link. I want to see where it says Allah have a penis, because as I know, Allah. No, as I know, Allah is penisless. So don't make things up. Secondly, when it says Allah have 2 hands and both of them they are right, but doesn't confirm that Allah don't have any 2 legs and one of them in the left, one on the right. Only the hands are right hands, which means it is the defect. It's not you who have a defect, it's him. Because he is the one have 2 hands. And by the way, if Allah have 2 hands in the right side, that means he have a left side.
Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have a
but the reason he don't have 2 hands in the left side, because if he have a left hand, that will make him a bad person. So now he have a left shoulder, but there's no hand there, so he's a bad person.
Yo, by the way, CP, I just sent SMS to my sheikh, and he just sent me the link. Here's the link.
Okay, this is the sheikh. All right.
The sheikh sent me the link to the proof that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he has the loins.
Okay. I see. Yeah, you are talking about something else. I see. عن ابن هريرة blah 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 خلق الله لما فرغ من مقام فقال أنا المقام قطيع. All right.
أخذت بحق الرحمن. حقه يعني multiple dictionaries will tell you this. It means groin.
Yeah. You are right, but it's not about he is having a penis. He have a small one.
Yes.
Yeah, this
my
is
mistake.
He has
a groin or a loin. I'm sorry, English is not my first language. My apologies.
No problem. Yeah, you are right. You are right in this case. Yeah, you are right. But this is not about big penis. It's a small one. Yeah, and he have little bows. Like little bows. He's God. He's God.
They do not bleed. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Asad. Do you have any Muslim would like to join us? You can invite him.
Not ones on Discord, unfortunately. There are a lot of, munafiqeen who claim to be Muslims, but they don't represent Islam correctly. Unfortunately, they come up. They say nonsense. They say, like, the earth is round. That's stupid. They say the Bible was corrupted. That's stupid. Unfortunately, I don't consider them Muslims, and may Allah deal with them, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah, inshallah. Okay. And I will show the hadith you gave me to people here. It says here, does Allah have loin or loincloth, as stated in the hadith 65:4879? It's true, but they are small, not big. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for sharing the information.
Yallah, thank you for having me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam. Where is the guy who wanted to debate me? Where is the guy who said you want to debate me? This is not the same person. Do you guys want the link? Actually, I know this, but I never thought he's going to mention. This is not about him having a penis. It's just saying that Allah have balls. Actually, usually the translation for this word here, I don't know how in the word such a word is used, about Allah. How Muhammad even he use it. And then they say to us that Allah is not a man. And this is the dictionary, by the way. This is the explanation of the word and how to read it in Arabic in the dictionary. And for sure, the Muslim trying to defend it, Let us see actually how it appear in the Muslim Sunni website. Um, Let us copy it and take it to the Muslim Sunni website and see how they translate it in English. All right. And this is Al-Bukhari, by the way, so you cannot say. So look what it says here. The Prophet says Allah created his creation, and when he had finished it, the womb got up. The womb got up and caught hold of Allah, whereupon Allah said, see, the translation is not really honest. What is matter? On that it says, I seek refuge with you from those who sever the ties of kith and kin. On that Allah will be satisfied if I bestow it, etc. So the Muslim here, they lie in the translation. They hide what it says. He grabbed Allah from his balls, from his waist and down. This is what it says. I don't think. See? This is the Google translation.
She took hold of the waist of the most merciful.
What a stupid religion. How far Islam can go with this stupidity? Seriously. If you want the link, this is the link. Thank you for reminding us of such a hadith. All right? She grabbed Allah, and look, in the Muslim translation, they took it off. Where it says what it says, no, it's gone. They could not translate it, They lie. It says he and got up and hold of Allah. Hold Allah where? You see how they translate? They took it off. Got hold of Allah. How you can hold Allah? And where? Here it says, in his waist and down. In fact, it is the area where you have your balls and your penis. And the womb is grabbing Allah. The womb now became a person.
The womb stood up and took hold of the waist of the merciful one. So he said to it, stop.
Stop touching me. Oh, Lord have mercy. We have to be honest. Islam is fantastic. Who can deny that? Can you? Do we have any Muslim would like to join us? I am live in Discord. Before I go, any Muslim want to beat the hell of me? Who is a Muslim can destroy me? Are you afraid to get busted? Like this Abdul? Huh? You should not be worried because Allah will support you. Anyone who is a brave Muslim would like to join? Not a single one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. And don't forget to download my videos. They are for free. I will never flag you for using my videos. Cut them pieces, expose those liars, and do good. For God is good, my friend. And the good God, He uses us to expose liars. All right? The good God, who He uses us to expose those wicked liars. No dignity. No dignity. And this is why the Christian always, you will hear him saying, without lies, Islam dies.
What's your advice for Christians? Read the Quran. If you're so certain in your belief, what harm could possibly come from reading the Quran? If anything, it's going to give you arguing points to disprove Islam, or it's going to convince you more of your religion, right? If you're a Christian, there's literally zero negatives towards reading the Quran. And what I'm going to tell you is once you read it, you're going to realize that all the opinions you had about the Quran are actually...
Well, this has happened to me. Thank you very much for reminding me. I decided to read the Quran, and I was astonished by the story of Al-Hudhud. Al-Hudhud is a minister of spine and irrigation for King Suleiman, and his job to find women who have no hair in their legs, which is a problem. Middle Eastern women are so hairy booter. So Suleiman is a king. And I will tell you his story. Suleiman was a flying with his flying carpet. He arrived to the valley of ants. One of the ants said, commercial break. If you have a problem with ants, please call us immediately. 1-800-KILL-ANTS. We can help you. If the ants are talking too much and causing too much noise, we have a very, very, very noise cancelling headset. Order your order right now before it's too late. It is a Black Friday for Muslims. End of commercial. One of the ants said to the other ants, wee, 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 wee. Oh, ants, enter your dwelling immediately. Immediately. Or Suleiman will crush you. And his armies will crush you. And perceiving. Suleiman was listening. He heard the ant. And he smiled. If you like to see your wife is smiling, commercial break, please call us right now. We have a gift for you. The second you buy it, you give it to her, she will ask for divorce immediately. Call us before it's too late. We have limited supply. End of commercial. Abdul, you are saying to us, read the Quran? Don't you know that ants don't talk? And they cannot hear, they are deaf? And Suleiman, he heard her speech? He heard what? He smiled, laughing at her speech. So there's a 10 trillion ants in the valley of... What is the valley of the ants, brother? There's a valley, it's called the Valley of Ants? Mean. There's nobody there, huh? Except ants. And now, how Suleiman will crush them if he's flying in the top of the flying carpet? Like, hello? And from all the ants in the world, Suleiman was able to focus. Look at this. I'm focusing, you know? I'm focusing. Okay, now I get it. Okay, the ant. Focus on this ant. No. I hear the other ant next to it. No, I want that ant specifically. Focus. Bingo. He heard her saying to the other ant, run away before Suleiman crush you in the way. And then he said to himself, thank you, Allah. Thank you, Allah. But go ahead. The stupid Quran says that Allah, He taught him only the language of the birds. Allah taught Suleiman the language of the birds. This is the chapter of the ants and Naml. Chapter 27, verse number 16. Allah taught Sulaiman only one language, the language of the birds. How he is listening to the ants when the ants are deaf and mute. Mean. Allah, he taught him the language of the birds, yet he understand the ants. And then he have a conversation with the ant. If you search online, you will find that this is a story the Jews they used to tell their kids. It's a fiction story for kids. The Legion of the Jews. Search the story of the ant speaking to Sulaiman, the Legion of the Jews. This is where Muhammad he got the story from. And then Sulaiman, brother, he went and he checked the birds. He started counting them. 1 bird, 2 birds, 3 birds, 4 birds, 5 birds, 6 birds, 12 birds. He have an army of birds and he found 1 bird is missing. Mean. It must be AI, Sulaiman. How Sulaiman was able to find out that 1 bird is missing? Are they chickens? Have you ever heard of a king? He have an army of a chicken, army of all kind of animals under his command. Is that 1001 night story? Brother, this is Sulaiman. Mean. The army of Sulaiman is coming. Praise be to Allah. And this potato, he's saying to us, read the Quran, what you will lose. What you will lose, you idiot. You see what you will lose. Christians, I advise you. I have to say thank you for the advice. What about the Afrit? Huh? What about the story of the Afrit? This is one of my favorite. Do you know why? When I was a kid, my mom, she called me Afrit. Do you know, guys, what Afrit is? Afrit is a very troublemaking genie. He's very fast. And Sulaiman, he want to steal the furniture of the queen of Yemen. He's a thief. He's a Muslim. You cannot be a Muslim without being a thief. So Sulaiman, he says in the same chapter, "Oh chief, who will bring me her furniture? I like the throne. Okay. And I want them to convert to Islam. We have to force them to convert to Islam. We have to bring them with shame into Islam. We have to force them. But the most important, who can get me her throne? I'm a good Muslim." The women, she is living far away. She have nothing to do with them. She never go at war. But Sulaiman, because he's a good Muslim, he want to steal the furniture of the queen. The bird came to him and he told him, oh, you know, he asked the bird, where you been? Where you been, you idiot? He says, oh, you don't know what I found. I found a woman, she have no hair in her legs. She have a very nice throne, beautiful throne. Oh man, full of jewelries. Sulaiman, the Muslim, his saliva started running. He said, who want to bring me her throne? And we forced them to convert to Islam. Afrit, look, a stalwart Afrit. Look at the translation. He's a what? He's a stalwart Afrit. Mean. In case you do not know how Afrit look like in Islam, I can show you. You want to see? I can show you how Afrit look like. Seriously. The Muslims in their movies, they always imagine the Afrit as an Asian person who is bald. Let us see this one here. either inside the bottle. Look at this Mr. Afrit. This is the Afrit. He's very fast. He can steal anything you want. Bank robbery, shoplifting, Walmart shoplifting, anything, anything. Just ask the Afrit, why you want to risk yourself to be arrested? And you are a good Muslim who like to steal and practice Islam. You like to steal the furniture of your neighbor. You ask who? You ask the Afrit. What do you mean remove the picture of this guy? We are here to make him shish kebab. Let everybody laugh at him. No, leave it. What do you mean leave the picture? Afrit, Afrit. How you can see the verse in the Quran? Sorry, it's my fault. I will move it for you. Here we go. I will move it here. So you can see the verse in the Quran. Okay. It's my fault. Sorry, sorry. Now you see the verse in the Quran. A stalwart Afrit? Mean. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when Afrit come to you, bad boys? Boy, oh boy. And you say to us, read the Quran. Brother, I advise you to read the Quran. Seriously. I mean, seriously, are you sure we should read the Quran, huh? And then we read about the fairy tale stories of Muhammad.
What's your advice for Christians? Read the Quran. If you're so certain in your belief, what harm could possibly come from
Nothing.
reading the Quran? If anything, it's going to give you arguing points to disprove Islam.
Sure.
It's going to convince you more of your religion, right? If you're a Christian, there's literally zero negatives towards reading the Quran. And what I'm going to tell you is once you read it, you're going to realize that all the opinions you had about the Quran are actually false.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially the verse is speaking about the penis of Muhammad, that it could not stand up. Amazing. It's so beautiful. So guys, did we make this guy shish kebab? Shall we play more videos or enough? What do you think? Oh, this video with his mother.
I lived in Pakistan when I was 19 years old, and in today's video, my mom was going to tell me her honest reaction when I...
Hold on. He said he lived in Pakistan when he was 19. But he told us one day his business partner asked him to go with him to Pakistan. Now he changed to say he lived in Pakistan. Okay, let you and your mom tell us about Pakistan.
called her and went, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to Pakistan." What did you think? Because I was 19 at the time.
I thought it was cool because I honestly.
Because she is hippie, she's stupid. In Pakistan, they will rape you. In the Pakistan, they will kidnap you. She think it's cool? She never heard of Pakistan before? Do you agree with me?
I can convince you that Islam is the one true religion and every other religion is false in 15 seconds. And I just...
15 seconds, already is done. We answered this one. Islam is the only true religion. Yeah, we answered this one too. The truth about religion.
Who told you that the Quran is true? The Quran and Hadith had multiple prophecies of the future. None of them are false. Hundreds of years after, and even today, they're happening 1,400 years later.
I agree with you completely, but your issue is...
He agreed with him completely. As you see, all the prophecies of Muhammad turned to be false. This guy, I went to his channel. Who was witness? I went to his channel, he was live, and he saw my text. What he told the admin, we have the video there in Rumble, you can watch it. He told the admin to block us. This coward potato, I challenge him
That it being true
to debate me live on air. And not only that, during the time we were there, he accused his prophet to be a wicked man. And we have the video for you. Watch it. This is why they don't dare to debate me. They won't speak to anybody. anyone who do not know Islam. This guy, he charge you $5 for every minute you call him in private. $5. Oh, he's serving Allah. I mean, why I want to be a doctor or a lawyer? $5 a minute. How cheap. Praise be to Allah. Right? This is the video.
Hey guys, be my witness.
Somebody watch it.
I will challenge him to debate.
Somebody send me the videos. Here we go in Discord. We went to his channel, this coward. I went to them, every Muslim channel, Zakir, Naik, all of them they're on. Just a few days ago, we went to Daniel.
Hey guys, be my witness. I will challenge him to debate me right now. Is that fair?
In his channel. And you will see my text here.
Appreciate that.
See, he see our text.
The difference between al-fasiqeen and al-dhalin. We did mention the difference if you're keeping up with the class. So,
by the way, here he insulted Muhammad. He said, Muhammad, the difference between fasiqeen and dhalin, those are two Arabic words speaking about bad people. So listen what he will say about dhalin.
So we said that dhalin is the person who who became misguided, right? Can also
the dhalin is somebody became misguided. Remember that.
Be used for forgetfulness. Dalal can include forgetfulness, right?
What?
But it's mainly used for misguidance, right?
I just paused.
And a fasiq is the person who disobeys.
Right.
Disobedient person. It says from fasaqat al-habba means
do you see my post?
The seed came out, which means it came out of obedience. You come out from obedience to Allah into disobedience.
Do you see my post?
And the dal is the person who has been misguided. So you can be a fasiq but not a dal. And you can be
can you please call me?
A dal. If you're a dal, you're most likely going to be a fasiq, because if you're misguided, then you'll be outside of obedient to Allah. But you can be someone who's not a dal but a fasiq. So you can be obeying the commands of Allah and a believer, but in the same time you are a fasiq.
Says I have to wait.
And then the funny, a Muslim, he says he corrected him about what he said about the word dal. The idiot, he insists that a dal person is a very wicked man. And the Quran described Muhammad as dal. فَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًا فَهَدَى. So he said my prophet was wicked. This guy, he claimed to know his religion.
More seconds before I post again.
You have some minor fusq. So that is the difference between fasiq and dal.
He just shot his prophet in the foot, by the way, by what he just said.
How to learn Arabic? Well, you find someone to teach you Arabic. How else would you learn Arabic? You find someone, organization, people to teach you. And
if you like to learn Arabic for free, I have a channel in YouTube. It's called Arab for Christ. It's for free. Don't go to Muslims, because what they try to do, they try to poison your head with their falsehood, using the Arabic language as a reason to mislead you and fool you. My channel, Arab for Christ, is absolutely for free. You pay no penny. I don't make money from it. As everything I do is for free. So you go there and you can watch it and enjoy it. Anyway, I was keeping posting here, and he insulted his prophet. He says Dal is a wicked person.
That criteria, as I mentioned, the criteria is simple. The criteria is that command. You've already made an agreement with the government that you're going to follow the law. So you have.
Anyway, you can watch the whole video. I can post it for you. You can watch it. Do we have any Muslim would like to debate me? All of them, they are potatoes. Not a single Muslim he dare to refute us.
I can convince you that
because they cannot refute us. They cannot. No Muslim can do so. Islam is the most stupid cult you can imagine. Subhanallah.
I need to tell you something that is absolutely insane. It just blew my mind. I was just driving home from a dinner, my father's birthday. My mom and I were in the car, and she just randomly looks over at me and she goes, you know, you probably have a better chance of getting your dad to revert before me. And I go, before you. Does that mean you're interested in Islam? She's like, well, I'm spiritual. Like, there's always a chance.
She's a spiritual, she don't mind that her son go to Pakistan to take drugs. Yeah, she is a spiritual. Obviously, you have a wicked mother. The family is wicked. Let us see other video so we can laugh more. Who can answer this?
I will leave Islam if any Christian can answer these 4 questions. I'm 100% serious. I say this because...
Yeah, we answered this one already. What is this one here?
You have to change your name now that you're...
Yeah, we answered this one too. That's it? There's no more? Maybe there's no more. Let us go to his page there. I will go to his main page and see if we can find a new video.
Stop asking me to convince your Christian boyfriends to revert to Islam. This is the final straw. I am drawing the line. Okay, I've had a lot of sisters message me, here are 5 reasons why you should not buy the Bible and you should buy the Quran instead.
Okay, I like this one. Let us see. There's 5 reasons you should not buy the Bible but the Quran. Let us see this one.
Here are 5 reasons why you should not buy the Bible and you should buy the Quran instead. Reason number 1 is the Quran is the only book that is the untampered word of God. The Bible...
Okay, I just called my goat and I asked her about if the Quran changed or not. And look what the goat said. I'm serious, it's a goat. This is very authentic hadith in your Islamic books. When the Prophet he died, a goat came inside his bed. She flipped the Prophet from the bed. She flipped the pillow. She opened the Quran and she looked for specific pages and eat them because she's educated Muslim goat. The verse of stoning and breastfeeding adult 10 times. Your religion have a breastfeeding for adult. Your mama now, if she's a Muslim, she have to suckle me. But too bad she's old. I'm not going to go there. I prefer someone she's so young, like mature women at the age of 6, brother. Breastfeeding for adult 10 times was revealed, and the paper was under my pillow. But when the Messenger of Allah died, we were preoccupied with his death. And a time sheep came and ate it. Now you can tell me, I challenge you to show me the verses of 10 times for breastfeeding for adult. Aisha, she said that the chapter of Al-Ahzab used to be equal to the chapter of Al-Baqarah. What? Used to be equal. How many verses now we have in the Quran? 73 verses. How many verses we have in the Baqarah? Watch and read. Never been tempered. By the way, I don't care for this temper thing because the Quran, the way it is, it's funny for me. I don't like it to be tempered at all. 286. 286. So how many verses are missing in one chapter in the Quran? Any Muslim can answer me? Can you believe it? 213 verses in one chapter. And who is the one is saying so? Is that the Christians? Is it the Jews? Is it the Hindus? It is your Islamic books. Let us read together. Let us read together. And this is very authentic hadith. Very what? Authentic hadith. In fact, it says in the that it is authentic like the sun. Let us read together.
Ubay ibn Ka'b said to me, "How many verses do you consider Surah Al-Ahzab to have?" I said, "Either 73 or 74 verses." He said, "It used to be comparable to Surah Al-Baqarah, or even longer, and it contains the verse of stoning." I said, "O Abu al-Mundir, what is the verse of stoning?" He said, "If an old man and an old woman commit adultery, stone them both as a punishment from God. And God is mighty and wise." The Hadith scholar's conclusion, its chain of narration is as clear as the sun.
As clear as the sun. What? How authentic this hadith? The conclusion of the scholars, it is a chain of narration as clear as the sun. Can the Abdul, they say, "Oh, Christian Prince, this is weak hadith. This is false hadith." Abdul, the Quran is preserved? Are you sure? Are you sure? Just from one chapter, even the by the way, it says that even it used to be longer. Not only it is equal to Al-Baqarah, as Aisha says even longer, bigger than Al-Baqarah. أو لهي أطول منها. It is longer than Al-Baqarah.
It is comparable to Surah Al-Baqarah, or it is longer than it.
See? I can show you tons of reference about your corrupt book, you idiot liar. Tons of reference, not only one. Do we have any Muslim when I talk about it? Any Muslim when I prove me wrong? Yeah, I know YouTube is making people lose my connection with me, and the view goes 2,000 and then go to 500. Yeah, but my broadcast is fine. This is from their side. They are playing games. They are making people lose connection from my broadcast. Anyway, we have a good time for today, right? It's better to stop here. And I ask the Christians, especially the young ones, to download this video and get this guy busted. We cooked him for good. We cooked him for good. Did we? Can he deny whatever I said? So now, anytime, make them short videos. I know some videos I made them like here in the topic is a little bit long, but maybe you can speed it up. You can, just get him busted. Cut them pieces and post all over. And let everybody, because this evil person, he will be trying to mislead as many young people as he can, using his lies and ignorance. And we know, and you know, that Islam without lies dies. They don't even have a book. In fact, the Quran confirms our book. The stupid ear do not know that the Quran says that our book between our hands never been changed. So either he is ignorant or a liar. Either he is stupid or a liar, but smart to make money. Either one, you are doomed. Muhammad, in his time, He confirmed the Quran which is between his hands. Chapter 2, verse number 97. Chapter 3, verse number 3. Chapter 5, verse number 46. Here it just says about Isa confirming the Torah. Here speaking about the Quran confirming the Gospel and the Torah. Here is speaking about Muhammad confirming what is between his hands. And what is between his hands? The Bible and the Torah. Tons of verses. Chapter 6, verse number 92, confirming the Gospel and the Torah. Abdul, when he speak, he is just a stupid fool. All of those saying what is between his hands. What is between their hands? So our book, which is between our hands, never been changed. In your stupid Quran. Other thing, when a Muslim he say that the Bible changed, and then the Quran says that the one who sent the Bible is Allah. Therefore, Allah is not God. Why? Because Allah said in the Quran, nobody can change his words. Not the Quran. He said nobody can change his words. لا مبدل لكلمات الله. Look how many verses. Chapter 6, verse number 34. Chapter 6, verse 115. Etc. Chapter 10, verse number 64 again. Nobody can change. Chapter 18, verse 27. Nobody can change the word of Allah. So how the stupid Muslims, they say that the word of Allah, which is the Bible, which is sent supposedly by Allah, is changed. If Allah, He promised, nobody can change the words of Allah. This is why we laugh at the Muslims when they come with this story. And then we find that the Quran is a messed up book. If you ask the Muslims, what is the first verse Muhammad he received? They say to you when the angel came to him in the cave, they say, okay, which one? You know, which verse? You know, which one is this verse? They will say to you, this one, chapter 96. Okay, hold on. If Allah gave Muhammad this is one as a first chapter, who is the one put it at the end of the Quran? Look how fast, how easy we prove the Quran cannot be the same Quran Muhammad received. Because according to Muslim, the first chapter ever Muhammad received is this. The angel says to him, read. You know the story, right? It is now 96. How many chapters left after that? The Quran is 114. So the Muslim, they move the number 1 to be 96. So did the Muslim change the Quran of Allah? It's obviously clear that they did, if Allah is even exist. You can prove it to you in prove it to them in 2 seconds. Ask them, what is the first chapter Allah gave to Muhammad? They will say 96. Okay, why it is 96 if it's first chapter? Right? And then you will find many example, you know. Muhammad, he mentioned a verse in the Quran saying that today I completed your religion for you. Chapter 5, verse number 13. Today I completed your religion for you. This day I perfected your religion for you and completed my favor into you and have chosen for you Islam, religion of Islam. Okay. This verse to be accurate, it have to be the last verse in the Quran. Why? It mentioned the day, which means timing. It is perfected. A Muslim can play with it, says not yet. No. Your religion and completed. So it is today. It is perfected. It is completed. So why it is in chapter 5, verse number 3? This verse should be the law. Imagine you are watching a movie and the movie says end. You know, the old days they used to put the end, the word end at the end. So because people they were slow, usually maybe, and they don't know that we are done. Go home. You know, bye bye. Hello, bye bye. Go home. Hello?
Hey man, I'm just gonna say, because it's pretty short. Fareed response is already exposed, like your methods of the Quran.
Well, you see, you can say whatever you want, but this coward don't dare to call me. Is that a fact?
Honestly,
Is
man, I
that a
feel bad for
is that
people
a
who take
hold
your
on, hold on, hold
interpretation
on,
of the Quran
hold on.
because hold
Is
on,
that a
before you talk over.
is it a fact that I am willing to call him, but he don't dare to call me?
I don't think he wants to talk to you because he knows your methods. He knows what you're
Exactly.
doing with
He
the
don't want
interpretation.
to. Guys, did you hear him? He
A
don't
lot
want
of
to
like
talk to
your
me
sources
because
of
I will
information
get him
came out
busted.
of
Because I will get him busted. Now you,
plenty of
listen,
Muslims
listen.
have debunked a lot of
Why he
the
will
stuff they
not
do.
talk to me? He talked to everybody because simply he will be busted. You know, is
No,
it?
no
Is
one's gonna
it?
be busted by you. Your
No.
method of
When
teaching is talking
when
over
a
people.
person he made, no, I will call him his channel. He have no excuse.
No,
So
no, but your method of explaining is talking over people and being very disrespectful about a
I
religion. How can we
he
talk
can
to
talk
someone
over
who's being
people
very
too.
disrespectful
I
about
don't
the
respect
Prophet?
Muslim. I don't respect. Do you respect Muslims?
Of course I do.
All right. Did your prophet say it? Are you?
No, no, no. Before you mention
Hold on, hold
another
on,
verse
hold
of
on,
the
hold
Quran,
on, hold
you
on,
lied
hold on,
about it.
hold on, hold on. Did your prophet say that non-Muslims are najis?
No, no, no. This is what you do, man. You just talk over and you bring up a verse of
I'm
the Quran.
allowing you
This
to
is your
talk.
only
Answer.
defense.
You're a
This is your only
prophet.
defense. But you have no
You're a
respect.
prophet. He don't
You have no
respect even
respect.
his. He
You
don't
can't debate
respect.
anyone.
He
You have
don't
no respect.
respect. He don't respect his parents. He called his parents najis. Is that true?
How can we have a civilized conversation if you just keep interrupting
You
all
are
the time?
talking, guys. Did I block you?
You like to talk over
Did I
people.
mute
You have
you?
no respect
You
towards
are
Muslims.
trying to avoid.
You insult
You mentioned to
you
me a
insult
name
our
of a person.
prophet.
You
You insult
mentioned to
our
me.
God.
Listen.
And you expect us to be peaceful with you?
You know, you complain, but you cannot debate me. That's why you are trying just to
Allah.
complain. Okay.
Imagine, hear me out, hear me out. Imagine
I
if
hear
you
you. I hear
disrespected
you.
your God
Did Muhammad?
and you bring this
Answer?
up
Answer,
and
please.
you
Did Muhammad call his parents najis?
that's irrelevant. You're bringing up a verse of
What do you
the
mean
Quran.
irrelevant? You said to me you don't respect people. If Muhammad don't respect his parents, he called them
Honestly,
filthy.
man, the truth is I don't care really enough to prove to you any different.
So now
When
listen,
you talked
I
about
will give you a
breastfeeding,
chance.
that's a complete
Listen,
lies,
I will
bro.
give you a chance from what you
Allah,
learn. I will give you a chance in front of everybody. What you learn from Fifi to refute me.
you brought up a
From what
hadith.
from what you learn from Fifi, give me the best you have and refute me. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to bring up the breastfeeding hadith that you brought up at the
All
very
right.
beginning.
What
I was
about
paying
it?
attention
What
to you.
about it? Go ahead.
Okay. Allah specifically said that no Muslim adult, right, is allowed to breastfeed another.
Where it
That was
says
a one-time exception.
where it says that? Where it says that?
It says that within the Quran
Show me. Go ahead.
specifically.
Show me.
Okay.
The Quran says no Muslim adult can breastfeeding. The Quran says that. Are you sure? I'm waiting for you. He's searching Google now.
Okay. Quran 22233 and then Quran
Quran
3114.
22222. There's no 222. What do you mean 222? Quran what? 222?
Quran 3114 and
Quran 31 one by one. Quran 31:14. All right.
3114. Yeah.
Okay. Read for me. Read for me Quran 31:14, where it says you cannot do breastfeeding for adult. Show me. Why you are right?
Okay, that's talking about a baby in 3114.
Where it says that 31:14? Where it says that? Where it says that? Why you are lying?
No one's lying. You just
Okay,
haven't
read
gone to
it.
the.
Okay, read it.
His mother. Hold on.
Hmm.
Yeah, I accidentally left there.
What?
I said I accidentally left there. No, but that verse alone is talking about how the mother breastfed their baby
So
during
what?
hardship.
This is not about baby. The breastfeeding for adult obviously is not
No,
for.
no, no. That's not
Is,
about adults as well. Again, you're just spreading lies about the religion. That's not true at all.
okay.
Okay, show me one verse within the Quran that says that we have to breastfeed.
Okay, I will show you. Here we go. I will show you guys.
Okay.
He said, "Show me one verse in the Quran." I will show you. You see my screen?
Okay.
You see my screen?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm curious.
All right. Okay. I would like you to read it. I would like you to read it. Here we go. And this is authentic. Read it.
Okay, what chapter of the Quran is that?
This is hadith. Read it.
Okay, but I said not the hadith. I said a verse within the Quran.
This is your religion, my friend. Islam is based on the hadith. My friend, how I can show you? How I can show you the? Hold on. How I can show you? How I can show you the verse? How I can show you the verse? If the goat ate the verse, the goat ate the verse.
No. See, this is the way you're respectful towards other people, right?
See, yeah, play victim. How you ask me to show you the verse if the goat ate it?
Before you continue talking over me, let me explain it. Right?
So what? Explain. Okay, explain how the goat ate the Quran.
I said a verse within the Quran. Is this the Quran? This is hadith, man.
There's many verses are not in the Quran no more. Every Muslim agree, and this is one of them.
Now you're lying again.
Okay, read it then.
I said a verse within the Quran. That's not a verse.
Is that my book? Is that my book? Is that my book?
That's a hadith.
Exactly.
A hadith.
Who is talking?
That's a hadith.
Who is talking? Who is talking?
You said a verse. You're gonna show me a verse.
Who is the one is talking? Aisha, correct? Is Aisha lying? Is Aisha lying?
I thought you knew everything about the Quran. That was a one-time.
I know everything about the Quran. I know everything about the Quran. I know everything about the hadith, and you don't know, and you know nothing. Now, how you can ask me to read for you the verse if the goat ate it?
Why should I read a hadith? I said bring up a verse.
Why not? This is your religion. You ask me for reference. You ask me for reference. I'm giving you reference. It's you who mentioned the topic, guys. Isn't it him who mentioned the breastfeed for adult? It's not me. It was your topic. So now deal with it. So now, Aisha, she said the verse of stoning and breastfeeding for adult 10 times was revealed. So it's a verse revealed, and the paper was with me under my pillow. When the messenger of Allah died, we were preoccupied with his death, and the time sheep came and ate it. And now you're asking me, where in the Quran?
That's what you originally said that you were going to show me.
I did. It was in the obviously it was in the Quran, but the goat ate it. So this was a verse. It was in the Quran, and the goat ate it. And here, by the way,
is it currently in the Quran though?
So who care?
That means Allah took it out of the Quran then.
No, it's not Allah who took it. No. It's the goat. It's the goat, my friend. Is your God is the goat? What do you mean Allah? Who's your God? Guys, did he say Allah took it? He said that. That means the goat is Allah.
We'll make one thing clear here before anything else, before you continue to speak and spread lies, okay?
I'm showing evidence. And then it says, and these verses were abrogated by recitation, but not by ruling. Okay, by 5. Where is the verse that says feed them 5 times? And how you can abrogate it when there's no abrogation for it? Where is the verse abrogated that the breastfeeding for adult? Nowhere.
Okay. You're just misinterpreting the hadith.
I am not. Okay, give me interpretation. Go. I'm listening. Go ahead. Okay.
It wasn't from the tit itself where they got the milk. That was put into a cup.
What milk? What milk? Abdul, what milk? The guy is an adult. The woman is an old woman. What milk? Do you think women, they have a faucet in their breast? Women, they have milk only when they give birth to babies, the same as all animals. So,
okay, so what do you think about this hadith here? Give me your explanation.
I think it's very funny and very stupid, and Muhammad is making fun of Muslims.
No, Muhammad is not making fun of Muslims.
So why he's commanding an adult woman to give her breast?
That there's no commandment there that says directly.
No, he said to her, Arda'i, give him your breast. She said, how I'm going to give him? She said to him, how I'm going to give him my breast, and he is a growing man. He said, I know he's a growing man. He said, I know he is a growing man. He have even a beard. The hadith says he have a beard. The guy, he have a beard. You're a prophet making fun of you Muslims. Let me show you the other hadith. And then you tell me who is lying. All right? Here we go. We will go here. This is your Muslim Sunni website, not Shia. Do he have a beard? Yes. So what the purpose of this? This is Sahih Muslim. And we can find in many, not only Muslim. She said to him, how I'm going to feed him, how I'm going to suckle him, and he have a beard. What do you think?
Not true. Yeah, Islam never said anything about breastfeeding.
It says here, فَقَالَتْ إِنَّهُ ذُو لِحْيَةٍ. He have a
You
beard.
understand the difference between putting the milk in a cup?
He have a beard. He have a beard. Listen, he have a beard. The Prophet, he command a Muslim woman to suckle a man. He have a beard, and he is. Why she want to suckle him? Tell me why. And look, in the front of you, the Muslim, they took the word beard. Where is the word beard? In Arabic, it says lahu lihya. In English, I don't see the word beard. Anyone see it? It's gone. Oh, here it says here. He has a beard. Okay, sorry. Do you see it? It says he has a beard. She said to him, how I'm going to suckle him? And he have a beard. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm reading it through.
Uh-huh. What happened?
Okay.
What okay?
So
what?
since you know the Quran so well, right? You're familiar with
Don't
the verse within the Quran that says only breastfeeding is allowed for 2 years, right? And that's directly
no,
towards babies.
this is about
So that's just like
no. This is have nothing to do. No. The verse you quote for me have nothing to do with the verse. The verse you gave to me have nothing to do with the verse we are reading. This is different story. This is here we enjoined upon concerning his parents. His mother breathed into him in his weakness upon his weakness. And she did breastfeed him. This is not about the command for how long she will feed you. And this is for a baby. We're talking about adult. So I'm asking you now in front of everybody, why Muhammad commanded the women to give her breast to a stranger?
No, the Prophet Muhammad never
it's in front of you. Stop, my friend. People are laughing at you. Guys, does it say Allah Messenger said to her? Allah Messenger said to her, suckle him. Suckle him. She said, how I'm going to suckle him and he have a beard. Who is the one said suckle him? Muhammad. She said, he has a beard. Muhammad insist again and said suckle him. And that would remove the disgust of the face of your husband. How if somebody suckle your wife a breast, that will make you feel better? Explain to us. Go ahead.
Okay, one thing first off, he never suckled on her breasts. Okay, it's a complete lie.
Who?
Salem.
No, he did.
Nope. That was a one-time exception, and Allah
He
later
did.
on.
Go ahead, hold on, guys. He did it only once.
Yeah,
So is it okay somebody he do that to your wife once?
they never suckled on the breast. I just made that clear.
It
I don't know
says
why you
no. It
bring it up.
says suckles.
If I made it
What
clear,
suckle
right?
mean? Hold on.
Allah,
He suckle what? He suckle.
Allah,
He suckle what?
he didn't suck on anything.
It says suckle him.
No,
It says suckle him.
They put the milk into
Guys,
a cup.
this is
They
not
put the milk
suckling.
into a
That will
cup.
be drinking, and the women she don't have a drink. She don't have milk.
Okay. Tell me, what is the milk son? You know what that is?
What?
What is the milk son?
What the milk? What? Milk what? What he said? Hello? What milk? The women she have milk. She's an old woman.
Okay. And
The women
even
and the
though
man, they
let's see,
cannot.
talk about
They cannot even
anyway.
have kids, and they are
Hold on.
old people.
Yeah.
The
Well, I
women,
made it pretty clear.
her
I made it pretty
husband.
clear to you. Look,
Listen.
everything you're bringing up, right, is in relation to the breast, right? The suckling of the breast, and I just proved to you that there is no suckling in the breast.
Where do you prove it to me?
Because you're misinterpreting the
No, the text says suckle. What suckle mean? Suck. Do you drink or you suck? Why we don't say he drank milk? We don't say suck milk. Suckle is you putting your lips around something, and then you suck it by moving your mouth and your lips in a certain way. This is what suckle mean. And this is what the hadith saying, suckle him.
Okay.
And how that will make the husband not jealous. And then Aisha, she practiced that too. Anyone when I enter upon Aisha, actually once Muhammad, he came to the house of Aisha and he found her in the bedroom with the guy. He never saw this man before. Muhammad gets so upset. So Aisha, in order to save her ass from being exposed, she said to him, "This is my brother from breastfeeding." Who did breastfeed him?
That's a complete lie you just said there. That very end part was just a complete lie.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's lie? You never heard the story?
You said the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, walked in on Aisha. And Aisha made a whole fake story to cover up what she was doing with the guy.
Yeah, he never saw him before. Otherwise, why will you be upset?
You're a liar, man. Astaghfirullah.
All right, let us see. Let us see.
I feel bad for anyone.
I know. You can feel bad as much you want. Here we go. You are talking to Christian Prince. You are talking to Christian Prince, not to Fifi. You are talking to Christian Prince, not to Fifi. Here we go. Read for me. Read for me.
You're nobody, man.
Read. I'm not Fifi.
You want Islamic scholars to come to you.
Read. Fifi is a Muslim scholar now. Fifi is a Muslim scholar, the one who says it's okay to be a pimp in Islam. Do you want me to play the video for you?
I want you to play the Fareed response video on you.
I can play whatever you want. Bring him. He's a potato and trying to change topic. Listen. He said it's okay to be a pimp in Islam. Do you agree with him?
I want you to play the Fareed response video.
I will put his video from Fareed response. Do you dare to say and to agree that it's okay to be a pimp in Islam?
No, of course not.
So listen, no, of course not. Okay, guys, he said of course not. So you are saying, hold on, are you accusing Fifi that he is lying?
Play the Fareed response video on yourself.
Okay, all right, I will do it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Your response to that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're choosing it by yourself, not me.
Okay. I'd like to see you debunk a lot of his claim.
You ask for it, and we are for it. Here we go. This is your Fifi saying it's okay to be a pimp.
It doesn't seem
No, but you're not playing the video.
Don't talk. Listen to your master.
Allah is forgiving. This is something, I don't think this is like speaking of like an ongoing thing. Like, Allah got you, don't worry.
What was that? Allah got you?
What's the sir and ayat again, please?
This is
Sorry, do you have the 24:33. Yeah. It doesn't seem to be speaking about past tense.
well, it says it's a jussive, a mood. Gives you
What's this? Can you tell us what this means in Arabic? Just as
right. Let me see. Brother, I'm just a student, so I'm not on the level of you guys. But there are things that I do notice, and in that specific verse, it's saying it is a jussive mood. Then this also allows it to say did, do, have not, did not, or do not, have not, or did not. So this is basically.
Let us see what Fifi talk. I want Fifi.
You know, and I try and read it chastity.
marrying off your daughter. If that happens, then there's
Them into prostitution, then you do force them into prostitution, then Allah, after their enforcing to them, meaning to the women, is forgiving and most merciful. Not to the person who's doing the forcing, not to the guy who is forcing his
That's
maids.
what I basically. That's what I was saying, right? Is that what I was getting from that?
Yes, that's correct, but that's taken from the Sunnah.
Right, but I just
In
took
the
that from
scenario,
words, is what I was saying. I didn't
no,
know there was a head about that. So hold
yeah,
on.
but you cannot force
just
me to understand that. I mean, if a guy right now has maids or daughters, and he wants to force them to for prostitution for money, he would point to that verse and say, "Allah is forgiving,
Right,
most merciful." Why would I take that?
and I would point them to other parts in the Quran that when you read that, it's like, come on, brother, they're not talking about the one who's doing the making her be a prostitute. They're talking about the one who is being prostituted. That if she's
yeah,
forced to do so, then Allah is forgiving, right? I mean,
fair enough.
I want to find where Fifi start talking. Maybe in the beginning, I'm not sure. Hold on. He said it's okay to be a pimp in Islam right away.
Out of it, some worldly main. But if you do
Okay.
so, if you force them, then after that,
Are you not going
Allah
to play the
is
video
Hold
where
on.
he's
forgiving, most
debunking a lot of
merciful.
stuff you said?
Hold on.
I would ask you, brother Habib,
Okay, man.
if you're interested in answering, why would God be forgiving to those people? Why would God be forgiving right now in this particular scenario? Like the guy is forcing the girl to do fornication, to prostitute herself for money, basically, like a pimp brother has said. So, what's your thoughts on this? Why is it
Yeah.
permissible? Why is it even for?
Actually, I found the timing. It is in the minute 3 in the video. He said it's okay to be a pimp. Let us go there. 3 minute 3:05. Let us go. Here we go. Listen carefully.
Hold on.
Yeah, if what I see from that verse is that you can be a pimp.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So that's funny. What the
What?
verse is saying: do not force your slave women into.
And this is for Fifi. He agree with them and he explained it. It's okay to be a pimp in Islam. Exactly. What? Exactly. It's okay to be a pimp in Islam.
Yeah,
Nah, I barely heard that,
what
man.
I
Read it.
Where's
see
the
from
video
that
link?
verse is that you can be a pimp.
Read what?
Exactly. So
Yeah, what I see from that verse is that you can be a pimp.
exactly. So that's funny. What the verse is saying: do not force your slave women into prostitution so that you might gain something out of it, some worldly gain. But if you do so, if you force them, then after that, Allah is forgiving, most merciful. I would ask you, brother Habib, if you're interested in answering, why would God be forgiving to those people? Why would God be forgiving right now in this particular scenario? Like the guy is forcing the girl to do fornication, to prostitute herself for money, basically, like a pimp brother has said. So what's your thoughts on this? Why is it
Yeah,
permissible? Why is it even forgiven?
yeah, I would have to look at the gessive mood, where it would seem that this should be if you did, like in regards to not if you will or in the future, this is something you're going to continue to do. But if you did, uh, then Allah is forgiving. This is something, I don't think this is like speaking of like an ongoing thing, like Allah got you, don't worry.
What was that? Allah got you?
What's this? What's the sir and I at again, please?
This is
Sorry, do you have the surah?
24:33.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be speaking about past tense.
No, it's
well,
not.
it says there's a gessive a mood. Gives you
What's this? Can you tell us what this means in Arabic? Just as
See, Farid?
right.
Farid, he corrected them. It doesn't seem to speak about past tense. It's about every time. And they agree altogether you can be a pimp. Continue.
Let me see. Brother, I'm just a student, so I'm not on the level of you guys. But there are things that I do notice, and in that specific verse, it's saying it is a gessive mood. Then this also allows it to say did, do, have not, did not, or do not, have not, or did not. So this is basically in these examples, it could say do, have, or did. So this could be if you did opposed to if you do.
May I come in 1 second?
yeah.
Go ahead, bro. Go
Am I
ahead.
the only one? Okay, go ahead.
And again, just again reading on where it goes and to dig into it. But when I've read this a number of times, and you look into it, and again, I'll have to get into the Arabic, and so don't go jumping on me. I don't want wolf pack back. We've had a good day today, so let's not bring out a wolf pack. But when I read this, and I try and read it over and over, isn't it that if you're compelled to do it, isn't it talking about the person to whom is being prostituted? That if she is forced or compelled to do so, not so much as Ak would call it, the pimp. We're talking about the one who desires chastity. That if you're compelled to do so, Allah will forgive her for such actions. Not so much, doesn't really even talk about the one using the one for prostitution. If I read that over and over and what I'm getting for it, I could be off, but is it talking about the one who's being prostituted, not the one who's prostituting her?
I mean, like, for example, in certain parts of Nigeria, marrying off your daughter is an essential.
Anyway, you can watch the video, and then especially when Fifi start explaining the stupidity of the Quran, and it says, yes, it says,
survive, right? And it's about
you can be a pimp.
if that
It's meaning that you could get from the verse if you're
Your real
Quran.
understanding before this room gets closed and we all get reported. And we all get reported.
He's afraid that this room will be get reported because they are saying it's okay in the Quran to be a pimp.
On my real understanding of the verse, or the apparent meaning that you could get from the verse if you're
Your real
Quran.
understanding before this room gets closed and we all get reported.
You don't want anybody thinking that pimps are allowed in Islam. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I really appreciate that. That pimp is allowed in Islam. I really, really appreciate that. Did you hear it? What do you say? Where'd the guy go? Where is the guy who asked me about Fifi to play Fifi video? I really appreciated that to know that pimp are allowed in Islam. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And Fifi was teaching them you can be a pimp. That's the one. Now we know why he were not there to debate me. You see those potatoes, when they are in the closed rooms, they say things. They don't say it in public. This is a closed room, by the way. Somebody from them recorded the conversation. So they thought nobody is recording. So when the Muslims are alone, they say things we'll never say when they are in public. You can be a pimp in Islam. We heard them all saying that. But if you ask Fifi, can you be a pimp in Islam? We will say to you no. So what they say in a private is totally the opposite of what they say in public. For every Muslim is a liar. That's why Christian, they say, without lies, Islam dies. The religion of the pimps. It's a fact. I hope we have a good time together today. Again, for those who they were watching, please cut the video, especially for this guy, and post everywhere. Let him be shish kebab and everybody laugh at him. The religion, which is amazing. What a scam you have. Thank you all for being here. And I hope we learn something good, all right, from the crusade. Always remember that Muhammad is wicked. And the Lord, He said, from their fruits you shall know them. The fruits of Muhammad we need to examine. All what they say to you, try to mislead you about Muhammad, is the most wicked person. Even when he got married, he made the father of his wife a drunk to make him believe he agreed. Even when the angel came to him, his wife, she did striptease to prove to him that this is an angel. Even when he go to his own son's wife, he flirt with the wife when the husband is not home. Not only thief, not only terrorist, not only a child molester. I mean, name one thing. Even when he received the Quran, he have to wear women clothing. And not to forget to mention that all his prophecies are a joke. And the fairy tales in the Quran is unlimited supply of stupidity. So I hope you guys learn. Somebody says in the comment, I embraced Jesus as he is my prophet. No, Jesus, okay, hold on. Do you know that all the prophecy is coming from God? So in reality, there's no prophet except God, because all prophesying in the name of God. Nobody prophesy in the name of his own. So Jesus is the only one you can call him God and prophet in the same time, because God prophesy. Same time, you Muslims don't know Jesus. You have a person, his name is Isa, and that is a Greek word mostly, or maybe it's coming from somewhere. We do not know. We never heard of it before. Muhammad is quoting wrong names for everything. According to the Quran, Isa is the son of Mary and is the grandson of the father of Moses. This is how stupid Muhammad is, and nobody can take him seriously. Ali Umran. You ask the Muslims, who is Umran? They will say to you, he is the father of Mary. But Umran is the father of Moses and Aaron. This is why the Quran says, oh, sister of Aaron. And Muhammad, you think that Maryam, the sister of Aaron, is the same as Maryam, the mother of Jesus. This is why we laugh at Muhammad and his followers when they claim Islam is amazing, astonishing. I have to say it's amusing, astonishing. It's a joke. Thank you all for being here. May the Lord bless you. Leave your comment, download the video, and cut it pieces and get that Abdul busted everywhere. God is good. So is Jesus. And we are the crusade. See ya.